Civilian Hokage, unstoppable from the start with 8 gates. Hey! Look who's back for more adventures. We love having you here to continue this story that keeps us all awake. Important note, all of this is pure fiction, so don't try any techniques you hear here in real life, your neighbor might call the cops. This amazing novel and all its rights belong to the original author, we're just the ones giving it voice and drama. Are you enjoying the show? Prove it by subscribing to our YouTube channel and leaving that like that motivates us so much. And if you want VIP access to exclusive content, our Patreon is waiting with things you won't find anywhere else. Chapter 1 Suzumiya Musashi. The border of Tierra del Fuego, on the busy highway. The sun scorched the sticky blood, and the strong smell of blood in the air was nauseating. A small beggar, filthy and smelly like a mud monkey, stared at the white-haired boy, who sat dazed. Suzumiya Musashi scratched the lice from his head. Hey! Kid, are you still alive? Receiving no response, Suzumiya Musashi sighed softly. A month ago, he was still a master's student with no bright future, and he confidently submitted his graduation thesis to his supervisor for review. The supervisor told him, "This work of yours poses no threat to my academic standing, but it will ruin my reputation. My archenemy's field of research is the same as yours, so you should list his name as the corresponding author." He was so angry that he died that night. When he awoke, he had become an orphan of Konoha ninja in exile. The world of Naruto is too dangerous, killing and dying are the main themes. Now he can earn money every day of his life and amass a fortune by the time he returns to Konoha. If the white-haired boy in front of him hadn't been kind enough to give him a piece of dried food recently, he wouldn't have interfered in his affairs. He walked forward, extended his hand, and waved it in front of the other's eyes several times, and the white-haired boy's blank stare finally focused. Looks like he's still alive. The boy slowly turned his gaze towards Suzumiya Musashi, and his mind finally reset. It's you. You're the little day beggar. Hey, that's too rude, kid, Suzumiya Musashi said dissatisfiedly, though I am a day beggar, but now I'm your superior, a superior on the road to exile. The boy's mouth twitched a couple of times. Woof, woof. Dead. Dad's dead, everyone's dead. Suzumiya Musashi frowned and covered his ears. As expected, children are the loudest. When the other person ran out of strength to cry, he said, "Are you done crying? Come with me if you're done, but before you go, you have to pack. You can't stay like this." What's wrong? The boy raised his tear-filled eyes and looked at the small beggar in front of him, about his own age. Aside from the dirty face with blurred features and the tattered scraps of cloth that barely covered his body, his whole body exuded a pungent odor. Any way you look at it, you're much better than the other one, aren't you? As he pondered this, a sinister laugh was heard not far away. What luck I have today. I ran into a cute little thing. Looks like I'm getting to eat meat. Ha 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 ha. Suzumiya Musashi sighed helplessly. He knew every fear would come true. Turning around, he saw a tall, thin figure. The dirty clothes and tattered sword showed that the other was a wandering samurai. He struck the ground with skill and speed, emitting a sudden sound, and his head sank deep. "Respected samurai, I only pass. Everything here, including this handsome boy, is yours. It's all yours. Please, have fun." As he spoke, he shifted his knees quickly and stepped aside, as if afraid of disturbing the good deed and making the other unhappy. Drawing ever closer, the boy vaguely sensed that something was wrong. The other's perverse smile made him tremble uncontrollably. Pow! The sword plunged casually into the mud. The man's eyes lit up, his hands moved up to the boy's neck, and his facial features began to contort with excitement. The boy wanted to struggle and escape, but his legs trembled, and he couldn't muster any strength. He couldn't help but seek help from the little beggar who was nearby. The beggar who had just said he would take him was now kneeling on the ground. He lowered his head, as if he were going to bow before the wandering warrior. Bow and beg for mercy? Even if you kneel behind the other person, they won't even see you. Despair loomed over him, and the warrior's arrogant laughter echoed in my ears. "Don't worry, little one. I'll teach you well." Ha ha ha. The strong body odor and bad breath made the boy dizzy. Amid the laughter, the sound of the spring expanding was barely audible. PFFT, the laughter stopped abruptly. A steel needle pierced the warrior's throat, and blood trickled slowly from the silver tip. GH, the crooked smile in his eyes turned to disbelief. Just as he was about to turn his head to see the source of the attack, he heard a gust of wind. Sparkle, a sharp blade pierced his neck from the ground. Then, Cuts began to rip and slice through his body, accompanied by intense pain. The little beggar's cold voice echoed in my ears. It must be uncomfortable to be penetrated. There was no trace of fear in the little beggar's eyes. His slightly red eyes were filled with rage. The need to survive forced him to use his last bit of strength to repeatedly elbow himself backward. He struck the little beggar in the back, and the other he groaned, but didn't let go. The muscles slowly opened, and he couldn't back away. Once, twice, 3 times, until his head was severed and thrown aside. The smell of blood in the air grew stronger. A relieved smile spread across the little beggar's face. Not bad, I've lived another whole day. 2 minutes later. Wipe the steel needle and cunning off the decapitated man's body and put them away. He approached the white-haired boy and held out his bloodied right hand. My name is Suzumiya Musashi, you can call me Musashi. What's your name? On the forest path, 2 dirty little boys were slowly making their way along. Musashi, I'm starving. I think the fruit on the tree is really good. It's blue and has patterns. It looks delicious, then you can eat it. When you're finished eating, I'll chop down the fruit tree, use it for firewood, and send it to you. The original soup will become original food. Hey, stop talking so badly, okay? Are you sure you can't eat it? I'm not sure, but if you eat it, you can help me confirm. That green mushroom looks delicious. How about we try one? Damu, if you don't want to live anymore, just say so. But Musashi, if you keep this up, I'll starve to death. You deserve to starve to death. You led me, Suzumiya Musashi said. Are you sure you took the right path? There won't be any wild beasts in such a dense forest, will there? If we run into a stray warrior, we might still survive. But if we run into a pack of wolves, tigers, or something like that, our youth will end here. Don't worry, trust me. This is the path I took when I left Konoha. It won't be bad. After crossing this path, we'll soon reach the village of Konoha, then I'll treat you to a grand dinner. All expenses will be covered by Mr. Nojiri. Seeing Nojiri Oki's smug look, Musashi said nothing more. He didn't have much energy left to speak. After a month on the run, the 2 men were covered in more bandages. The wounds came from poisonous insects, traps, and strangers. The life filled with crises had left him physically and mentally exhausted. Nojiri Oki, on the other hand, seemed to have more energy than before. When we met a month ago, Nojiri Oki was very timid. He did as he was told, and she didn't even dare to speak aloud. She emerged from her sadness and fear, and after realizing that Musashi wouldn't easily stab her in the neck, she gradually warmed to him. The title also changed from adult to older brother and finally to Musashi. You pray on the 1st, 3rd, and 5th, and I pray on the 2nd, 4th, and 6th. If you beg more, you'll walk a little farther. If you beg less, you'll skip a meal. It wasn't boring anymore. I walked for a while on an empty stomach. The landscape before me finally opened up slowly. Green trees, green grass, songbirds, and fragrant flowers. The calm and peaceful atmosphere made Suzumiya Musashi feel that the ninja world he had seen in the past 2 months seemed like an illusion. Gazing at the building, which was vaguely familiar to him, Suzumiya Musashi breathed a sigh of relief. We've finally arrived, Konoha? Ah. My Nojiri Oki is finally back. Startled by the sudden howl in his ear, the next instant Nojiri Oki grabbed Musashi's hand and lunged forward like a runaway husky. Chapter 2 Calamus. After explaining his identity to the gate god, Oki Nojiri led Suzumiya Musashi to the village of Konoha. Clean, orderly streets, men and women coming and going. Compared to the chaos and suffering outside, Konoha could be considered paradise. He observed as they walked, trying to overlay the vivid scene before him with the image from his memory. As for Nojiri Oki, who had repeated I'll starve to death in a second more than 70 times, his eyes became obscenely amused, and a suspicious liquid trickled from the corners of his mouth. I'm finally back, little sister, the fragrant little sister, the clean and beautiful little sister of Konoha. Hey. Your smile is a bit too perverted, please calm down, Suzumiya Musashi remembered. Uh-oh, slurp. After wiping his saliva, Oki Nojiri led Musashi Suzumiya forward. An intense aroma filled my nose. Gilulu, their stomachs protested, and they both seemed paralyzed, unable to move. They turned around and looked. Imposing words appeared. Ichiriko ramen shop Gilulu. Passers-by couldn't help but stare. These 2 little devils, they're beggars, it stinks. Let's go, damn it, I still want to eat ramen. No, I'm leaving now, The voices beside them didn't leave them, and Nojiri Oki's face immediately turned red. "Let's go to my place to change," and during his hunger and looking embarrassed, Oki Nojiri was about to pull Suzumiya Musashi away. "Dang dang dang," said a pleasant female voice. "Ichiriko Ramen's new soup, welcome to try it." Two small, steaming bowls of ramen appeared before them. Behind the ramen, a smiling face was visible, enhanced by the heat. Through the small white chef's hat, soft eyebrows and eyes could be vaguely seen. 2 months. Hungry, cold, restless. Being despised, mistreated, attacked, and beaten to death. The smiling face before him, like sunlight piercing through thick fog, made Suzumiya Musashi's heart beat faster. "Why is the face in front of me blurry? Oh, it must be the heat of the ramen." Suzumiya Musashi quickly closed his eyes. After the heat dissipated, he looked at the little girl in front of him. She was about 6 years old, almost a head taller than him, with a smiling face beneath her white chef's hat. Not far away, the ugly uncle who worked at the shop also had a smile on his face. "2 guests, free tasting of new products, please give your feedback, thank you." "Thank you." Nojiri Oki took the ramen and immediately began to devour it. Even pigs would shake their heads at his peculiar way of eating. Thank you, I'll try it carefully." Suzumiya Musashi took the bowl and chopsticks, grabbed Nojiri Oki by the collar, and headed to a corner where they wouldn't disturb the guests. "Enjoy this delicacy. It's just that I've been starving for too long." The ramen slid down my esophagus as soon as it hit my mouth, and every cell in my body groaned with satisfaction, so I couldn't give an objective and useful evaluation. As they ate in the corner, a child's voice interrupted them. "There they are. There they are. 2 sneaky little devils, Suzumiya Musashi, Nojiri Oki, D." There were 2 figures in front of me, one tall and one short. They wore a conspicuous round fan logo on their clothing, and then she looked at the adult man behind her as if she wanted to take credit. The man lowered his gaze and observed the 2 dirty beggars indifferently. The girl, who looked about his age, spoke again. "No secret escapes my eyes, Uchiha Izumi. Tell me. Are you spies from outside, Quan? Stop fooling around." The adult man looked at Suzumiya and Musashi and said calmly, "Even if you're just 2 brats. Explain your origins and the reason for your visit to Konoha. If you can't explain it clearly, Konoha will not receive you." "The arrogant Uchiha clan," thought Suzumiya Musashi. Nojiri Oki nervously stepped forward to explain his identity, while arranging the dishes and carrying them to the artisan kitchen counter. "We're so sorry. We can't give good advice because we haven't eaten in a while. If possible, next time I'll clean myself up and bring enough silver to try it." "Thank you, dog servant Mass." He put down his bowl and chopsticks and approached Nojiri Oki, who was hurriedly explaining his identity. "Okay, you're Shuidu's son, I know, and you?" The Uchiha man looked at Suzumiya Musashi. "Explain yourself clearly." "Memorize. Shen, Su, Joe, Mao, chicken, GSN, basketball, oil cake, John invest, deep fried fish with essence." "Suzumiya Musashi, I've brought important information. Please take me to see the Hokage, the 2 Uchiha, Nojiri Oki Cyrillic lettered X. Hokage's office. After the Uchiha clan member leading the group departed, Sarutobi Hirozen stared at the small, black figure, as dark as a wolf's mouth, before him. At the same time, Suzumiya Musashi also observed the 3rd Hokage. The strongest Hokage in history, the one who had hidden Naruto, condoned the extermination of the Uchiha clan, and signed unequal treaties. Sarutobi Hirozen, known as the Professor of Ninjutsu, he was identical to his anime portrayal, the same Hokage robes, the chain smoker, and the wrinkled face. Judging by his demeanor, it was hard to imagine he was one of the most powerful people in the ninja world. "So he's Kenta's son," Sarutobi Hirozen said quietly, glancing at the translated information in his hand. "Yes, before he died, my father revealed his identity and information to me, and asked me to send it to the Hokage of Konoha even if he died," Suzumiya Musashi said. Exhaling a puff of smoke, Sarutobi Hirozen spoke slowly. "It's difficult for you to carry out a mission at such a young age. Father said that, however young you are still a member of the village. Everything belongs to the village. The information is very valuable. You can freely exchange the merits accumulated by your father for ninjutsu, silver, or other things. There's a special office where you can collect them at any time. And one last thing." Suzumiya Musashi was confused. "One last thing? What?" Sarutobi Hirozen turned to the Jonin at his side and said, Ibiki, take him to get himself fixed up and come back to me. Yes. Hokage-sama. Half an hour later, the small, dark-skinned beggar transformed into a clean-cut boy. Although his skin still showed obvious signs of wear, his handsome appearance was revealed. This time, yes. As expected, he's just as handsome as Kento was as a child. Hirozen observed Suzumiya Musashi's appearance and had no more doubts. Wherever the leaves fly, the fire will continue to grow. The fire will continue to illuminate the village and cause new leaves to sprout. Welcome home, boy. Grow up healthy and strong here. Someday, you will become an excellent ninja like your father, Suzumiya Musashi said with determination. Hokage-sama, believe me, I will undoubtedly be a better ninja of Konoha than my father. Under the third Hokage's instructions, a special person escorted Suzumiya Musashi to receive Suzumiya Kenta's inheritance, including a small house, some household furniture, and the ninjutsu scroll sealed in the secret compartment of the room. Later, with the other party's help, he bought everything and rented a house near Ichiriko Ramen. Real estate is a high-risk investment in Konoha, and Suzumiya Musashi feels that renting a house next to Ichiriko will give him a sense of security. It seems we can even glimpse the shadow of those happy little days. Chapter 3 Chakra Refinement Test. That evening, after finishing his busy work, Suzumiya Musashi sat on the tatami mat of his new home with several ninjutsu scrolls in front of him. Wind Style, Great Breakthrough, Wind Style, Vacuum Ball, these are all the scrolls my father left behind, Suzumiya Musashi said to himself. Except for Vacuum Ball, which is the only B-rank ninjutsu, the others are all below C rank. Instant Body Flicker Technique is just an ordinary instant body flicker technique, but it's not bad. At least I'm not broke, I just need to practice for a long time. Looking at the scroll in front of him, Suzumiya Musashi began to think about his next plan. When I saw Naruto in my previous life, I only saw Naruto, Sasuke, Kaguya, and the Six Paths. Even the elite Jonin Kakashi became a unit of chakra measurement in everyone's eyes. 2 months after his rebirth, Suzumiya Musashi discovered that a random, wandering warrior, not even as skilled as a Genin, could end his life. Genin are the nameless people crushed beneath buildings during the Nine Tails Rebellion, the corpses left behind by Pain and Shinra's conquest, and the mincemeat on the battlefield. Therefore, you must first prepare for the worst-case scenario. What should you do if you lack the talent of a ninja, or if you can only be cannon fodder for your entire life? He found a way to marry Ayame, inherit the Ichiriko Ramen, and embark on a new journey in life. If you understand the era when the Nine Tails Rebellion and Pain held sway, surviving in Konoha shouldn't be too difficult. This is the only way out. If there is a glimmer of hope, he still wants to make a difference here. Magnificent and powerful ninjutsu, supernatural power. Of course he wanted it. However, as a descendant of a civilian ninja, with no lineage restrictions and not being the reincarnation of a god, my hope is slim. In the ninja world, there aren't many powerful ninjas without lineage restrictions or genetic talents. Hiruko, or Orochimaru, Might Guy. Considering the difficulty of acquisition, the danger, the potential for future growth, and so on, his current goal is very clear, Might Guy's 8 gates. The downside of this technique is that it takes a long time to take effect, is difficult to practice, and difficult to master. Researchers don't shy away from difficulties. So, let's focus on Might Guy next. Suzumiya Musashi took the chakra scroll. Refinement technique. Furthermore, let's test this body's ninja abilities. The scroll of the chakra refinement technique he held in his hand had been passed down through generations in the Suzumiya family. It was covered in markings, and they weren't the notes of a single person, which saved Suzumiya Musashi a lot of trouble. After carefully studying the points of knowledge on the scroll and making sure nothing was missed, he began attempting to refine them. Chakra is formed by drawing physical energy from the body's 130 trillion cells and combining it with spiritual energy accumulated through numerous training sessions or experiences in a fixed ratio. Whoever masters it can push themselves to the limit to be the last. Perhaps it was the torture he endured in 2 lifetimes as a human, but when it came to drawing and controlling mental energy, Suzumiya Musashi felt clearly very skilled, even with unexpected fluency. However, difficulties arose when drawing cellular energy. Although the spiritual power was ready, the cellular energy still responded sluggishly. Suddenly, his mood dipped slightly. The truth was, I don't possess the ninja talent of a genius. After calming down and facing reality, he continued extracting chakra according to the method described in the scroll. In his previous life, he studied mathematics, pored over books, worked on research projects, and wrote articles, so he was accustomed to tedious persistence. It was getting dark, and he still had plenty of time before heading to Ichiriko Ramen tomorrow afternoon. An hour, 2 hours. As time passed, he stopped thinking about ninja talent and concentrated on repeating the chakra refinement. The faint energy in the cells became increasingly active, as if, with each effort, it escaped and merged with the spiritual energy he had already prepared. Finally, the first beam of body energy was successfully extracted, and then, cells throughout his body began to overflow with body energy one after another. The two forces converge and combine, and new energy is generated within the body. When he opened his eyes, it was already daylight. Ichiriko Ramen. Heartbeat by hand, uncle, sister Ayame, I came to try ramen. Oh? We know each other. Chorus looked at the delicate and handsome boy in front of her with a confused expression. Suzumiya Musashi wasn't surprised and added, that, 3 days ago, little beggar, 3 days ago, little, what? Chorus's eyes widened in surprise. She couldn't connect the handsome boy in front of her with the unrecognizable beggar from a few days ago. At that moment, she couldn't even distinguish the two dark little faces, a large bowl of tonkatsu ramen. Thank you. Suzumiya Musashi sat down on the stool. A large serving of ramen? Can you eat that, little brother? Suzumiya Musashi, surprised, looked at her father's hand at her side. That's right, my father died gloriously to complete the Hokage's mission. Now I have to live alone. I need to find a job to satisfy my hunger every day, Suzumiya Musashi said sadly. But Ichiriko Ramen isn't planning on hiring anyone lately, the hand typed hesitantly. It can barely handle the work at Ichiriko Ramen and it doesn't plan on hiring more people. Besides, they didn't know Suzumiya Musashi and didn't want to hire a demon lightly. Of course, Suzumiya Musashi noticed the hand's hesitation, and if it were him, he wouldn't suddenly accept a stranger. After tidying his clothes, he stood in front of the hand and said earnestly, Uncle Shouta, business at the shop is going very well. I suppose you and Sister Chorus must be very busy, right? Especially Sister Chorus, who is very young, but has to take on so much work. It's really too much. Even though I'm young, I'm very good at my job. If I help out, you and Sister Chorus will have it easier, and my salary is so low. Looking at the sincere Suzumiya Musashi in front of him, he continued to frown. But, Suzumiya Musashi, and I promise. Of course. Of course. I won't cause any trouble at the shop, Suzumiya Musashi, uncle, please, Sister Ayame, please, Suzumiya Musashi, Chorus, father, please accept it. In that case, it's fine, Shouta finally agreed, starting at 4 p.m. every day, come here to wash the dishes. I'll pay you your salary as usual, do your job well or I am firing you, kid. In the following evenings, some Konoha villagers noticed that there was suddenly a busy little man at the Ichiriko Ramen shop. Sir, your 2 bowls of ramen are ready, Uncle Hand. Just focus on cooking, leave the small things to me, like cleaning the table, Sister Chorus, what are you doing? Put it down. Such soft hands aren't good for washing dishes, let me do it, Sister Chorus. I'll say it one last time. Put it down. How can a girl do something like pour water? You're challenging a boy's self-esteem. Don't worry, even though I'm small, I'm stronger than you. Across from the table, Nojiri drank the last mouthful of soup from his bowl and watched Suzumiya Musashi, who was as busy as a bee. After returning to Konoha, his image was no longer that of the little beggar he used to be. The hair that had been black for 2 months was once again as white as snow, and a few strands from his forehead covered part of his eyes. It was euphemistically called an artist's hairstyle. Suzumiya Musashi thought this hairstyle made it easier for him to look at pretty girls, but it was undoubtedly a vulgar hairstyle. Nojiri Oki, so, Musashi, you really don't plan on continuing to date me and just working here, picking up the bowls and chopsticks from the table, Suzumiya Musashi said. First of all, I never agreed to date you. Second, don't think I'm just doing a part-time job. From today on, Ichiriko is my home, and I belong to Ichiriko. Finally, please vacate your seat after you finish eating so as not to delay the other diners who want to eat. Nojiri Oki, I really don't understand what you're thinking. You can live a peaceful life with me, forget it. If you want to work, go ahead. When you have nothing to do during the day, come see me at the Shuedo bookstore. I have some new books in my library, and I hope you'll join me so we can enjoy them together. Handwritten, Greek letter sigma, Cyrillic letter dec, Suzumiya Musashi. Sorry, Oki, I have more important things to do. Chapter 4, finally, you, the Blue Beast. Half a month later, at the Konoha training grounds. 97, 98, 9, 100, thud, his body collapsed to the ground, and Suzumiya Musashi gasped. Half a month earlier, he had successfully refined chakra, but he hadn't pushed himself any further. His physical fatigue told him that over-refining chakra would cause harm. This kind of injury wasn't conducive to practicing physical skills. As long as he held fast to the 8 gates of ninjutsu, he would never allow his body to suffer unnecessary damage. So, after a simple test of his talent, he went to Nojiri Oki's house to ask for his superior's basic ninjutsu knowledge and suspended his chakra training. Only a strong body is the source of chakra and the foundation of life. After half a month of training, he could clearly feel the rapid vital changes in his physical condition. His strength and physical power were improving. After resting for a while and regaining his strength, Suzumiya Musashi resumed doing push-ups. 1, 2, 34, 35, 36, the small, trembling body repeated the actions with firmness. He heard the footsteps, but wasn't distracted at all, his gaze fixed on the grass beneath him. 41, 42, 43, the footsteps drew ever closer, and finally stopped in front of me. I caught a glimpse of a green trouser leg out of the corner of my eye. Plop. Plop, Suzumiya Musashi's heart suddenly raced. Was this what he'd been expecting? Half a month ago, he started training here after learning, through silent inquiries, that some fool in green tights practiced in this martial arts arena. Bring your lunch and come all day, rain or shine. The wait had finally arrived. His heart pounding like a drum, he insisted on completing the second set of 100 and collapsed to the ground again. Young man, you look so handsome when you fall, a gruff voice rang out. Suzumiya Musashi looked up and saw the figure he had been waiting for. He wore a tight green suit, had a melon-shaped black haircut, and dark, colorful facial features with a row of bright white teeth. Hoo ho ho, after catching his breath, Suzumiya Musashi spoke with a serious expression. You can laugh at my jokes, but please stay out of my way and don't bother me. I will use all my energy to practice, strengthen my body, and temper my will. Don't waste a single second of your time. Let my whole life be spent in sweat. This is my youth. After that, he began a new round of exercises. 1, 2, 14, 15. The expected reaction didn't appear. Suzumiya Musashi was performing the movements while his mind was in a state of confusion. What's wrong? No response. Didn't the lines I prepared trigger the keywords? With unease and confusion, Suzumiya Musashi completed another series of movements and looked up. What he saw was a face covered in tears and snot. Might guy, wow. This touching youth. It really makes my blood boil. Young man, let's ignite the flame of youth together. Observing the facial expression in front of him, Suzumiya Musashi thought he heard the sound of waves and wind, and a rising red sun seemed to appear before him, gradually transforming into a green figure. He suppressed his excitement and replied, hello. Burn. Young man, said Ichiriko Ramen Shop. Musashi, what have you been doing these days? You look so tired every day. Exercise? You don't look old enough to be in school yet, Zio Chengluo asked, surprised, looking at Suzumiya Musashi, who was a head taller than him, and asked. That's true. But a strong body is a prerequisite for becoming an excellent ninja. My goal is to become an excellent ninja like my father, one who can burn Konoha to the ground. Really? Our Musashi is truly powerful, but even if you want to be a ninja, you have to take care of your body. Look at you, your hands are shaking even while washing dishes. Let go of me, how is this possible? This is my job. Oh, alright. Ayame looked at Suzumiya Musashi with a serious face and narrowed her eyes with a smile. What a cute little devil. She's so serious. She's really adorable. Suzumiya Musashi retorted firmly. Sister Ayame, completing your work is also a form of practice. You can't be lazy. That's how I was as a young ninja, Suzumiya Musashi retorted firmly. But, Sister Ayame, you're so kind. It would be a great fortune to marry a girl like you. Calamus, W, good heavens. You always talk nonsense, brat. Suzumiya Musashi, I don't talk nonsense. If that man was able to marry Sister Ayame, He must have saved the ninja world in his previous life. Ayame, I'll attend to the guests. You can wash up at your leisure. Looking at Ayame, who started skipping as she walked, Suzumiya Musashi smiled and continued washing the dishes. Yael's workdays passed without incident. On the other hand, contact with Kai was also very frequent. Suzumiya Musashi stayed at the training grounds during the day, every single day without fail. Regardless of whether Might Guy came or not, he would train seriously and wouldn't stop until he had exhausted his last bit of strength. The age of development in the ninja world is relatively early, and after a period of training, the changes in the body become increasingly evident. Might Guy, who only came occasionally, always invited Suzumiya Musashi, with excessive enthusiasm, to burn his youth, and he naturally agreed. After a while, they both started calling each other by the most intimate names, Musashi and Big Brother Kai. Yoshi, Musashi, you're here. In a corner of the training grounds, Suzumiya Musashi was practicing alone that afternoon. Seeing Might Guy approaching, he didn't stop until he finished a series, then paused to rest. Brother Kai, how are the exam results going? Ha ha ha. Although it's not the first time, how can a mere Chunin exam stop the advancement of youth? Kakashi, I knew it. Brother Kai will make it. Musashi, the light of youth is brighter than the setting sun. Let's run with passion. Let's run to Konoha's gate before the sun sets. I'll run on one leg, and if I can't finish, I'll run around Konoha upside down. Is it really possible? Suzumiya Musashi said excitedly. This is simply amazing. Brother Kai, although my practice is far inferior to yours, I won't give up. I swear on my youth. If I don't reach Konoha's gate before sunset, I'll do 1,000 push-ups. Brother Kai, start. My youth is thirsty. Ha ha ha. Okay, let's begin. The light of the setting sun illuminated the village, and two figures, one large and one small, raced toward Konoha's gate like the wind. Even hopping on one leg, Might Guy left Suzumiya Musashi far behind. With a touch of his toes on the ground, the man flew away like the wind. After a while, Suzumiya Musashi, who was chasing him, began to feel uncomfortable. His lungs protested. His muscles screamed. The message from his body to his brain clearly conveyed the same thing. I can't go on. Stop. It was in his mouth. But he continued to chase him desperately. It wasn't just to gain Might Guy's approval. Having chosen his own path in the ninja world, he had mentally prepared himself for everything that lay ahead. How could he possibly achieve his goals by studying peacefully and practicing superficially? He truly needed to burn through his youth and let it blossom with a blazing flame, and perhaps only then could he pursue the mountains of the future as a civilian ninja. What was in front of me had become blurry, and I couldn't even make out the direction of the door. All I knew was that the ground beneath my feet had solidified, and the moment I exhausted my last bit of strength, my body fell forward. It was caught by a solid chest. Kai? Brother Kai, am I finished? With a twilight glow, Might Guy hoisted the exhausted Hirohi Musashi onto his back and walked back to the entrance of Ichiraku Ramen, where he set her down on the barely recovered floor. Musashi, I'm leaving tomorrow. Before I go, I want to give you a present, Might Guy said. You're leaving? Where are you going, Brother Kai? Becoming a Chunin comes with more responsibilities. Starting tomorrow, I'll be leading a team on a mission, so I probably won't be able to train with you for a while. Suzumiya Musashi was stunned. The Third Shinobi World War is about to begin. Alright, don't worry about me. I'm the beast of Konoha? Seeing Suzumiya Musashi's concern, Might Guy smiled brightly, took something out of his backpack, and held it up to him. Hey. This is my present for you. You should practice hard while I'm gone. Chapter 5 The Art of Making Money 2. What caught Suzumiya Musashi's eye was a piece of green fabric fluttering in the breeze. Familiar background music seemed to play in his ears. My favorite training tights. They're breathable and hydrating, and they have perfect lines for comfort. The moment you put them on during training, you'll instantly understand how wonderful they are. Might Guy's voice interrupted the music in his mind. Suzumiya Musashi looked at the tights in front of him and at Might Guy, who was eagerly awaiting them. I happily accepted them. Great. Brother Kai. Thank you, I'll definitely practice a lot in them. Oh, huh. Just as I thought. Musashi, I'll get back to preparing for the mission. See you on the path of youth. After watching Might Guy leave, Suzumiya Musashi turned and saw two figures peering through the door. Nojiri Oki said resentfully, So, Musashi, you don't want to meet me just because of this weird big guy? You bastard, AM looked worried. Musashi, that strange piece of cloth you're holding, throw it away. As if strength weren't enough, she stepped forward, kneaded the flesh on either side of Suzumiya Musashi's face, and said, listen to your sister and throw it away. Of course. Of course. You can't wear that weird thing on your body. It doesn't match your face, do you hear me? What are you doing? Suzumiya Musashi took his hand away from his face and said earnestly, this isn't a strange piece of cloth, and it's more than just a garment, it's Brother Kai's recognition of my ninja way from my youth. It's the bright light that guides me so I don't lose my way on the ninja path. How could I throw it away? There's more than one way to be a ninja. Musashi, listen to your sister and try a different path, okay? Sister, a chorus, even though I like you very much, I can't agree to this. Seeing AM's somewhat disappointed expression, Suzumiya Musashi softened and said, at most I promise I won't wear this dress when I'm working or when I see you. Since you insist, then fine. Musashi, you mustn't appear in front of your sister wearing this strange thing. AM, right. I like Sister Calamus very much, did you know that? But you haven't been with me for so long. How long have you spent with me since you returned to Konoha? Tell me. Nojiri Oki waved his hands. Have you forgotten the time we spent running away together? Have you forgotten the happiness we felt sharing half a piece of cake? Have you really forgotten the wild vegetables we dug up together in the morning and the cicadas we slept with at night? Where have you left our bond, you bastard? Suzumiya Musashi. Would you like to hear what you have to say, Nojiri Oki? Van. Suzumiya Musashi. Okay. I have to get to work. I'm running late, and we already have guests. Before Nojiri Oki could lose his mind, he said without turning his head, come home with me later. I'll look for you if I need anything. Nojiri Oki. Tisk. Understood, Cap. Under the night sky, Oki Nojiri followed Suzumiya Musashi, chatting about his boring life of the past 2 days and the new book published by his own publishing house. He emphasized that the author of Intimate Paradise had stable, high-quality updates and was undoubtedly an exceptional full-time writer. Even while traveling together, Suzumiya Musashi already knew of the other's small SP qualities, but still lamented the precocity of children in the ninja world. A child of only a few years old began to observe Tsubuki. Not only that, Nojiri Oki also told him that he possessed excellent painting skills, learned from his father. Upon returning home, Suzumiya Musashi took out a piece of paper and a pen and said to Nojiri Oki, if I remember correctly, you said you painted very well, right? Don't look at my young age, but I am a good painter. Bah, how good characters. Suzumiya Musashi pointed to the paper and pen on the table and said, then draw it. I'll tell you the requirements and see how your drawing turns out. Girl, you're reaching maturity, so you should have some curves, but don't exaggerate. The painting style should be cleaner, preferably with a youthful and bright touch. Maintain a pure smile, like the neighbors. These are the requirements first, then you can draw. Nojiri Oki was a little confused, but as always, she obeyed Suzumiya Musashi's request, took out special paper and a pen from her bag, and began to draw. 10 minutes later. No, the smile is pure. Do you understand purity? It's not ignorance or stupidity. Curves. Youth can't be flat, meat. Not the plump kind, but the kind that clings to the skin. Half an hour later, Nojiri Oki nervously bit his paintbrush, awaiting Suzumiya Musashi's evaluation. Musashi took the drawing paper and examined it closely, frowning slightly. Just as Nojiri Oki scratched his head, Suzumiya Musashi finally put down the paper. It's unexpectedly good, huh? I knew my painting skills were excellent. Nojiri Oki suddenly puffed out his chest. Suzumiya Musashi looked at him with a smile and didn't refute it. The painting is indeed good. After Nojiri Oki had been pleased for a while, he said, by the way, did you bring the Intimate Paradise you mentioned? Nojiri Oki, what? Didn't you say you wouldn't see it? Stop talking nonsense, do you have any? And began to leaf through it under the latter's lewd gaze. After a while, Suzumiya Musashi closed the book, and Nojiri Oki immediately approached. How is it? The work I admire is good, right? Suzumiya Musashi thought for a moment and commented, so. Overall, the plot of the work can only be considered acceptable. The appeal is still the good pictorial style, and the fresh emotions expressed in long paragraphs are also good. Tisk. Nojiri Oki was dissatisfied. I think you did it on purpose. This is already the best on the market. Did you know? Intimate Paradise is very popular in the major countries and ninja villages. Okay, you're right. This work is still very good. Suzumiya Musashi changed the subject. Oki, do you want to make money? Make money? No. Nojiri Oki shook his head again. My uncle is in charge of Shudo, and he treats me like his own son. I have plenty of money for my expenses. Suzumiya Musashi, damn it, Nojiri Oki, what do you mean? Suzumiya Musashi thought for a moment and said, that's right, I've been short of money lately, and I need your help to find a way to earn some. Is that all? I don't think it's that big of a deal. If you need money, just tell me. What's our relationship? What's mine is yours. Say whatever you need. As before, Suzumiya Musashi was touched, but he still shook his head and said, this won't work. Even though your uncles are very kind to you, I can't take advantage of you. This isn't a long-term solution. I need money for training, ninjutsu training, especially taijutsu. Costs a lot just in food. This is fine, but ninja tools, ninjutsu, and various training resources will be plentiful in the future, so we must consider them soon. Being a ninja is an extremely expensive profession. The various swords and resources, including the large quantities of fresh meat and vegetables he now consumes daily, are not something an ordinary family can afford. It hasn't been long, but he has almost spent everything he earned from buying and selling the house. As for the merits of Kenta Suzumiya's mission, he didn't want to discuss them now. After thinking it over, he knew this was more valuable than money. Shall I help you? Suzumiya Musashi said. Shall we publish a book? Nojiri Oki, publish a book. Suzumiya Musashi nodded. Yes. Publish a book. I recognize your skills as a painter. Afterward, I will write the story, and you will be responsible for the illustrations. We will cooperate and split the profits in half. What do you think? Drawings, and you'll be in charge of contributing ideas for the story. But is your story okay? Suzumiya Musashi patted Nojiri Oki on the shoulder and said in a deep voice, trust me, let's make it bigger and stronger together and not let Intimate Paradise take the lead. Nojiri Oki's eyes lit up. Okay. Musashi, let's start a revolution in the ninja world. Good. Let's find a suitable story to practice and test the waters. So, Oki, I'll tell you to remember, Aching is a Jonin who is still training. One rainy day, Mina, the Chunin sister, takes him home. Under the night sky, two small children huddled in front of a light, working on their first drawings. From time to time, sounds of sigoi and hei could be heard in the air. Chapter 6 The 8 Gates of Dunja obtained by accident. A few months passed in the blink of an eye, and it was already spring of the second year. In the Konoha training grounds, a green figure gleamed among the trees, his fists and feet thumping occasionally, creating gusts of wind. 998, 999, 1000. 1000 spinning kicks, ready. Suzumiya Musashi collapsed to the ground, his chin glistening with sweat. After completing the strenuous exercise, he moved slowly until his panting subsided, then began to rest. Half a year has passed, and Brother Kai still hasn't returned, Suzumiya Musashi told himself. Time. The clouds of war were beginning to gather, and prices in Konoha were rising sharply. Although the war hadn't yet affected him, he felt vaguely uneasy. In the chaotic times of the ninja world, the lives of ordinary people were too insignificant. He didn't want to remain insignificant, so he practiced his physical skills more diligently than before. She pulled out the lavish lunchbox and devoured it. The price of the ninja training bento was getting more and more expensive. Problem for now, after finishing his lunch, he took something out of the bag beside him. The root, perseverance, of the Konoha Ninja Tool Shop bears the heavy load. This, too, was purchased with the profits from Oki Nojiri's work. Half a year ago, he began collaborating with the other party on a book. One intended to challenge Intimate Paradise, and the other wanted to fill his wallet. It can only be said that both are progressing toward their respective goals. He and Nojiri Oki established 3 rules. First, the plot of the book cannot be discussed in front of acquaintances. Second, his identity as the sole creator must not be known to anyone other than Uncle Nojiri Oki. The third point, and most important, is that a chorus must not notice anything unusual. If a chorus were to find out that they were the true identities of the new star of the book Midnight Knife, then see you in the Valley of the End. After carefully tying the root weight belt, Suzumiya Musashi, who had finished resting, began his afternoon strength training. Half an hour later, a sudden voice interrupted his workout. Musashi, stop, Brother Kai. Suzumiya Musashi looked up in surprise and saw the familiar figure walking toward him. Brother Kai, you're finally back. Did the mission go well? Might Guy approached slowly, a look of approval in his eyes, extended his right hand, and said, well, the mission just ended. Come on, Musashi, attack me with all your might, and let's see if your youth has been lazy all this time. Might Guy's expression wasn't as lively as usual. Looking at him, Suzumiya Musashi had some conjectures. Seeing his opponent raise his right hand in a fighting stance, he stopped talking, removed the weights one by one, and assumed an attack stance. Brother Kai, be careful. As soon as he finished speaking, his body moved violently, and he launched a whip-like kick with a whistling sound. Boom. Wham. Boom. Boom. Bang. The loud crash echoed throughout the training field. Suzumiya Musashi didn't hold back and attacked with all his might. He knew himself very well. Even if he used his full strength, he couldn't cause any problems for his opponent. There was no need to hold back. Breathing heavily, Might Guy stopped the test. You really didn't disappoint me. Musashi, it seems you haven't let up at all during this time. Brother Kai, even being alone, I will never be lazy. Youth cannot be wasted. This is my ninja way. Very well. Musashi, you work harder than me then. You also have more talent than me. Hearing Might Guy's praise, even Suzumiya Musashi couldn't help but get excited. But now was not the time to rejoice. He looked at Might Guy in front of him and asked, so, Brother Kai, has something happened? I see you seem worried. Might Guy's voice sounded a little heavy, even you can see it. Something happened. My father died stopping the Kurigakure ninja and buying us some time. Brother Kai, his inner hunch was confirmed, and Suzumiya Musashi's mood soured. He wanted to comfort him, but he didn't know where to begin. His father died in the war, and no matter what, he couldn't avoid the sadness. Don't be sad for me, Musashi. Might Guy did his best to curl the corners of his lips slightly, as if that would make him feel less sad. Dying in battle is a ninja's fate. What's more, my father died for the village. He protected us and implemented his ninja way. Brother Guy, when my father died, he told me that Konoha in flames would illuminate new branches. Perhaps in another world, they too will be happy to carry out their own ninja way and their will of fire. Suzumiya Musashi sacrificed his damned father, hoping Might Guy would feel better. Woohoo! 2 lines of hot tears trickled down Might Guy's cheeks. He quickly wiped them away. After waiting for his emotions to subside, Might Guy got down to business. Musashi, I've come to you this time for something important. Your progress and hard work have given me more determination. Brother Kai, what's wrong? As long as I can do it, I'll do it even if it costs me my life, Suzumiya Musashi said. There's no need to risk your life. The war situation is getting more and more serious. I'll soon be facing a new mission. I'm here this time to teach you my technique. A technique. Suzumiya Musashi's heart began to pound. Yes. A technique. The only one in Konoha who possesses the secret of the physical technique my father and I practiced, the 8 Gates ninjutsu, Might Guy said with a serious expression. The happiness came so suddenly that Suzumiya Musashi was stunned. He had been wondering how to obtain something, but it came so unexpectedly. Brother Kai, why do you suddenly want to teach me this technique? As I just said, this is a taijutsu that only my father and I practiced in Konoha. Now, my father has died in battle, and I am about to return to the battlefield. Musashi, to practice this technique, one must endure immense pain and hardship. Of all the people I know, your background and talents are the most suited for this technique. Suzumiya Musashi, Brother Kai, thank you for acknowledging me like this. Might Guy, Musashi, you don't need to thank me. Your efforts deserve such recognition. However, the 8 Gates ninjutsu is not only difficult to practice, but also extremely dangerous. This technique temporarily grants immense power by releasing the physical restraints of the human body. When the 8 gates are opened, my father, Might Guy, dedicated 20 years to mastering this technique, but he died of exhaustion from using it. Suzumiya Musashi didn't hesitate for a moment and said firmly, Brother Kai, no matter if it takes me 20 or 30 years, I will definitely master this technique. I will use my power to protect important people, even if it means death. I will never regret it. Musashi, Might Guy's eyes reddened. I was right about you. When my father taught me the 8 gates of Dunjia, he once said that there is one strict condition for practicing this technique, self-discipline. You must remember that. Use this technique to protect what is most important to you. I remember. Brother Kai, the next afternoon, Might Guy returned to the battlefield. In addition to leaving Suzumiya Musashi with the experience of practicing the 8 gates, he also left him a box of large pills to replenish his physical strength. Musashi, practice hard. Konoha will protect you and help you grow up well. I hope to see the flame of youth rekindled, protect us and let us grow up well, Suzumiya Musashi muttered to himself. The war was escalating, and he seemed to feel the dark cloud of war slowly closing in on him. During the World Ninja War, could Konoha truly protect them and allow them to grow up well? His fears were soon realized. Shortly after Might Guy stormed onto the battlefield, Konoha's top leaders summoned troops. They called upon the descendants of the village's ninja to go to the battlefield. Children from ninja families over the age of 4 who had passed ninja talent tests were on the list. It's not about participating in the fighting, but about feeling the sacrifice of our parents, experiencing the cruelty of war, and sharing whatever simple tasks you can. Only by cultivating a pure will of fire will more outstanding ninjas emerge in the future. Suzumiya Musashi is on the list. Did you promise to grow up healthy and strong in Konoha? Zhao. Damn 3rd generation. Chapter 7 Uchiha Warzone. Damn it. 3rd generation, Nojiri Oki slammed the list on the ramen shop table. Unlike Suzumiya Musashi, the Nojiri family hadn't settled in the village as ninja. They had run bookstores and publishing houses for generations and were major contributors to Konoha. They weren't eligible for the subscription, and their name wasn't on the list. He resented that Suzumiya Musashi was. If Suzumiya Musashi went to the battlefield, who would continue to discuss artistic creation with him daily? Not to mention the dangers of the battlefield. Nojiri Oki exclaimed angrily, is the 3rd generation crazy? How could they give such an order? Ayame, who was present, also had a worried expression. She said, Hokage-sama, the 3rd Hokage shouldn't have done that. How can our Musashi go to the battlefield so young? She pinched Suzumiya Musashi's cheeks with her hands, frowning. Can't we leave? Suzumiya Musashi sighed. No, even if the phrase is gentle, it's a call to war. If I don't go, it's not completely impossible, but I won't be able to become a Konoha ninja in the future, Ayame said anxiously. It doesn't matter if you don't want to be a ninja. Ichiriko Ramen is your home too, Musashi. Nojiri Oki, Sister Ayame is right. It doesn't matter if you don't want to be a ninja. You can continue with me, Suzumiya Musashi, Van, Nojiri Oki, ahem. Let's continue together every day. Suzumiya Musashi shook his head. The Hokage's order has been issued and cannot be changed. I must go. I promised my father and the Hokage that I would be as good a ninja as him. The only sad thing is, Sister Ayame, that I can't be with you at the ramen shop every day. Ayame hugged Suzumiya Musashi with a touched expression. Musashi. Suzumiya Musashi seized the opportunity to throw herself into her arms. Sister Akoris, I'll miss you so much. Nojiri Oki, hey. There aren't just 2 people here, are there? After bidding farewell to Nojiri Oki and Ayame, father and daughter, Suzumiya Musashi went straight to the ninja tool shop and began shopping. Ninja tool bag, kunai, shuriken, detonating tags, field toolkit. The already high prices of ninja tools had risen dramatically due to the influence of the war, and Suzumiya Musashi had to buy them with great reluctance, nearly emptying his recent savings. It's important to save your life. Once on the battlefield, there's nowhere to spend money. Although the apparent idea is to let them go to the battlefield to experience the environment and take on some work within their capabilities, the situation on the battlefield changes rapidly, and no one knows what will happen next. If he finds himself in danger, the children and elders of the ninja clan can take care of him, but he has no one to protect him. Afterward, the assembled new shooters of Konoha, led by the ninja, rushed to the fields of battle in several locations. Battlefield encampment, Uchiha clan rest area. The 4 of you will be in charge of carrying food and miscellaneous items. The 3 of you will be in charge of cleaning the camp. The 2 of you will go to the medical area to tend to the wounded. Finally, the 3 of you, go to the logistics kitchen to help. An adult ninja, and Suzumiya Musashi was finally assigned to help in the logistics kitchen. Compared to sanitation work, which requires cleaning up excrement and transportation, which is never easy and can be dangerous, logistics is a good option. Since it's far from the battlefield and there's no need to worry about going hungry. And why did things go well for Suzumiya Musashi? It was because he found out from the ninja in charge of the organization on his own, and through a series of words, Ninja-sama, Your combat uniform is torn. The battle must have been very hard. Ninja-sama, why are there holes in your kune? How can you use a kune like this fighting for Konoha? This won't do any good, Ninja-sama. Compared to my weakness, these high-quality kune from the Konoha Ninja Tool Shop are much more suitable for you. Please accept them. This is my contribution to Konoha. She got the job of cooking for the ninja. The ninja world isn't all about fighting and killing. Suzumiya Musashi's career on the battlefield also officially began. Cooking, cleaning, resting, and practicing the three-body technique. Even on the battlefield, fighting isn't constant, and life in the kitchen can even be considered boring. Most members of the Uchiha clan are arrogant, especially the more outspoken ones. If new recruits like Suzumiya Musashi don't do their job well, they'll be reprimanded, but if they do, no one will bother them. After Suzumiya Musashi put in the effort and used her experience at Ichiraku to improve the food from barely edible to quite good, she received better treatment. Later, Suzumiya Musashi carefully reviewed the effects of her ninjutsu to see if there was room for improvement. Upon arriving on the battlefield, she stopped practicing physical skills. Besides the exercises necessary to maintain her through daily physical conditioning, he conserved energy to face emergencies. At the same time, he began refining his chakra again and practicing the three-body technique. As a ninjutsu for the Konoha Ninja Academy graduation exam, the three-body technique is considered the foundation of ninjutsu. The most basic transformation technique involves the temporary conversion of chakra into tangible, but not material, object. The cloning technique involves creating a controllable virtual clone. The substitution technique, on the other hand, must be prepared in advance and used to confuse the enemy during battle. It is not difficult to practice and proves quite useful in low-level combat. Suzumiya Musashi's goal was very simple, to enrich his resources in the shortest possible time so that, in case of an accident, he could increase his chances of a successful escape. His idea was undoubtedly sound, and everything unfolded as he expected. One night, the sleeping ninja were awakened by strident alarms and shouts. Suzumiya Musashi, who was sleeping in his clothes as soon as he got up, he jumped out of bed. Ignoring the group of new, same-age friends, he panicked and rushed outside to investigate. Under cover of darkness, a large number of enemies began to appear, howling and fighting. Prepare to face the enemy. To the enemy, ah! My legs! My legs, he shouted to the person behind him. Watch out, run for your life. As he spoke, he moved quickly, ignoring the shouts and voices behind him. Luckily, since they were at the rear of the camp, his group of children and Jinan hadn't been the most affected, so he still had time to observe the situation around him. They planned to retreat in a direction where the fighting was less intense. He didn't find it. There were enemies everywhere, near and far. Ha ha ha. Go to hell, you little demon of Konoha. Several Jinan ran towards Suzumiya Musashi and his group, brandishing the ninja tools in their hands. On the battlefield, there is no distinction between adults and children. There are only enemies. A flash of a knife appeared, and shouts were immediately heard. He took the initiative to face him. Bang bang bang, kunai and long swords clashed continuously, sparks flying everywhere. While protecting himself from the opponent's sudden and unexpected movements, he also fought off the enemy Jinan. 5 moves, 10 moves, 30 movements. Even after training, they were still at a disadvantage in terms of strength compared to adults. Under the fierce attack of the opposing Jinan, Suzumiya Musashi did his best to resist, but he didn't dare to find the opponent's weakness and deliver a fatal blow. What was the secret to surviving on the battlefield? Annihilating enemies? Suzumiya Musashi said that wasn't right. On the battlefield, especially on a chaotic battlefield, the secret to surviving was choosing the right opponent. Kill one, and there will be another. It was better to use the escape technique, roll and crawl instead of using a brusque movement lightly. In this way, Suzumiya Musashi fought on the battlefield. If he found a better opponent, he looked for opportunities to change positions. He left the increasingly irritable opponent for someone who needed him more. The battle continued, but fortunately, death didn't come suddenly. The level of the Jinan that they attacked there, he wasn't tall, and he kept looking for the lowest of the low, so he could have a steady performance and maintain a 0-0 record. At one point, he suddenly saw a familiar figure. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 8 Uchiha Itachi. He's the same age as her, but his fighting style is ferocious. The kunai he wields can end his opponent's life with pinpoint accuracy. Uchiha Itachi. After a moment of distraction, the enemy's eyes suddenly lit up. Seizing the opportunity, the kunai in his hand activated. Just as Suzumiya Musashi was about to roll and crawl to dodge the attack again, a beam of light flashed. When the two kunai collided, one of them obviously more powerful, propelling the other to pierce the Kumaga Kyujinan's body, ending his life. Damn it, Suzumiya Musashi suddenly wanted to curse. This is the opponent I chose with great difficulty. Turning around, I saw that the fighting had ceased and the enemy had begun to retreat. Only then did Suzumiya Musashi reveal a youthful smile. Thank you. He approached Uchiha Itachi and extended his hand. Suzumiya Musashi, call me Musashi, and you? Uchiha Itachi didn't extend his hand and said, Uchiha Itachi, Itachi, all this is thanks to you. If it weren't for your kunai, I would have been finished. Thank you, you're welcome, Uchiha Itachi said calmly. Not knowing how to respond to Suzumiya Musashi's sudden enthusiasm, the Uchiha clan members in the distance called out to him, so he turned and left. The enemy retreated, and the people of Konoha began to rest, tend to the wounded, and regain their strength. Suzumiya Musashi also bandaged his own minor injuries. With his current weakened strength, he could only do his best to save his life in a large-scale raid. The weary Konoha ninja took turns resting. But what they didn't expect was that before dawn, Unine would launch another night attack. Screams, death screams, blood. Repeating the scene from a few hours ago. The same thing happened to Suzumiya Musashi. Although he cursed in his heart, he could only begin to slacken on the battlefield. He also encountered Uchiha Itachi again in the battle. It was different from the way he fought to fight the enemy. People. It didn't matter how much, how talented he is, he's only 4 years old. After a fierce fight, the two men stopped Uchiha Itachi's attack. The latter had a fierce look and formed hand seals, ready to use ninjutsu to kill the Konoha genius in front of him. Uchiha Itachi's eyes widened. Are you going to get infected? Bang! 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 A few shurikens pierced the hidden cloud ninja's body fiercely, and blood splattered everywhere, nearly knocking him half a meter sideways. Taking advantage of the sudden change in the situation, Uchiha Itachi broke free from the restraints of the two, quickly advanced to finish off the ninja in front of him, and then turned to kill the two remaining enemies. As he turned around, he saw that the man he had just attacked was still fighting the enemy in front of him. At dawn, the enemy finally retreated. Uchiha Itachi approached Suzumiya Musashi, who seemed to be waiting there. Uchiha Itachi didn't ask him why he had the energy to kill him, but he didn't. Perhaps the other one didn't want to kill him, he thought. Uchiha Itachi, just now, thank you. Suzumiya Musashi frantically suppressed the upward curve of his lips and replied, you're welcome. Uchiha Itachi nodded, you can keep practicing your shurikens, Suzumiya Musashi. He wasn't focused on training his shurikens, and of course, they were no match for Uchiha's kunai throwing technique. He only wanted to be powerful, numerous, and successful. Some of his shurikens didn't even spin out, they just shattered. Shuriken, throwing them all outwards. Uchiha Itachi. I can tell you about some of the techniques I've mastered when I have time, Suzumiya Musashi. Deal. The two raids caused a significant reduction in the number of troops at the Konoha camp. Many people died in the logistics department, and Suzumiya Musashi had to take on more work, like serving meals. Meetings with Uchiha Itachi also became more frequent. Subtract from your 7 children, Itachi. We meet again, come on, I'll give you more, I'll eat more, and I'll grow more, Itachi. I have some questions for you, tonight. Let's burn our youth together. Itachi, did you run into a strong enemy today? You seem a little embarrassed, brat. Who gave you the nerve? How dare you speak like that to the son of our clan leader? The sudden malice frightened Suzumiya Musashi. Behind Itachi, an Uchiha with a headband glared at him hostilely. Look at the style of the outfits, well, Jinan. Suzumiya Musashi didn't reply timidly. The Jinan Uchiha's expression became even uglier. Damn brat. You're just a commoner, don't you know the slightest respect for Master Uchiha? Enough. Daxiang, come back. Uchiha Itachi's face looked ugly. Itachi-sama, but, come back. Don't make me repeat myself. Hello. Musashi watched the two walk away, Itachi, is this the magnanimity of the Uchiha you despise? After Kumagakure's surprise attack, Konoha naturally had to retaliate. You attack me, I attack you. Sometimes battles raged in every camp, and sometimes assault teams simply bumped into each other midway, and the fighting would begin the next instant. Suzumiya Musashi gradually felt dazed and bored. A Jonin, or even a strong man who wasn't quite a Jonin, could save his life, but he couldn't avoid those slightly stronger. If he happened to get caught in a Jonin's large-scale ninjutsu, his ninja career could end abruptly before it even began. A few days later, another chaotic battle ended. This was the biggest battle since Suzumiya Musashi's arrival, involving not only enemies from Konoha and Kumagakure, but also enemies from Iwagakure. The continuous screams and shrieks echoed in my ears. A buzzing sound filled the air, and the smell of blood numbed my nostrils. Musashi was actively approaching. A groan came from the pile of corpses not far away. Uchiha Itachi went toward the sound and discovered it was an enemy who wasn't dead. Under Suzumiya Musashi's surprised gaze, Uchiha Itachi took out a bag of water and gave it to the other. When the enemy opened his eyes, his expression changed from confusion to shock, and then, suddenly, he took decisive action. Laughs, bang, 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 a kunai and a shuriken struck him at the same time. The enemy lay back down. Uchiha Itachi raised his head, his face confused. Musashi, I wanted to save him, why would he want to kill me? Suzumiya Musashi shook his head and said, I don't know, maybe he was confused too, he wanted to kill you, why did you save him? Okay, stop imagining it, go back, and don't let your father worry, father, he won't. Walking across the blood and flesh-covered ground, Uchiha Itachi suddenly spoke. Musashi, where are we going? Suzumiya Musashi, where are you going? Let's go back and eat. No, I mean, with a ninja world and pointless fighting, what's the point of our existence? What's the future? Suzumiya Musashi, go home and get a bowl of ramen made by Sister Ayame. Uchiha Itachi, hey, stop imagining that. Suzumiya Musashi grabbed Uchiha Itachi by the shoulders and said as they walked, I'm telling you, ninjas are tools, and fighting is like a part-time job. You and I aren't even Jonin, we can barely be considered tool lubricants, you need to find some meaning in your time off. Well, when the war's over, I'll take you to Ichiraku Ramen, and then you'll understand. I'm telling you, Uncle Handwhip's latest seafood ramen is delicious, and one bite will clear your mind. Chapter 9 The war is over. The Third World War finally ended. The ninja returned to Konoha one after another, exhausted and wounded. Some had lost loved ones, others were disabled, and many lay buried underground, waiting for the day they would be rescued from the dust. After listening to the Third Elder's teachings, Suzumiya Musashi entrusted the settlement of merits directly to Uchiha Itachi and rushed to Ichiraku Ramen. How much merit could he possibly gain as the ninja cook with a 0-0 record? Sister Calamis's home was still the most fragrant. Ichiraku Ramen shop. Sister Akoris, distracted, suddenly turned around, and the next instant, a figure threw herself into her arms. Sister Ayame, Suzumiya Musashi hugged the person in front of him tightly, desperately inhaling the familiar scent. And he punched the uncle to separate them. Really? What are you doing hugging these two kids? Musashi, go wash up. Ayame, can't you see the guests are waiting for you? I'm so sorry, sir, I'll have it ready right away. After returning home and cleaning up, Suzumiya Musashi rushed off to the ramen shop to help out. Washing the usual dishes and listening to the crank-operated man entertain the guests, my heart filled with peace and contentment. Spending so much time together, the relationship between him and the father and daughter from Akoris was no longer just that of a poor kid working part-time, but was slowly becoming a family. Only there could he feel truly alive, and not just dreaming. Only there could one dispel the coldness of the heart and forget the blood and cruelty of the ninja world. While entertaining the guests, Ayame would occasionally slip a piece of sushi or tempura to the busy Suzumiya Musashi, who would swallow it with a smile. As expected, my favorite is Sister Akoris. That night, after saying goodbye to Ayame, Suzumiya Musashi and Nojiri Oki, who had rushed off after hearing the news, returned home and cleaned the house together. Afterward, Oki Nojiri suggested that Suzumiya Musashi study creative writing. The new writer, Midnight Bull Knife, hadn't updated his work in a long time. If this continued, his popularity would plummet. Suzumiya Musashi refused. He just wanted to get a good night's sleep. Nojiri Oki kept trying to persuade him, but he stabbed him. The two of them fell asleep on the tatami. A few days later, Konoha held a funeral for the fallen ninja. The third Hokage and a group of high-ranking Konoha officials led the mourning. The somber weather made the funeral even more desolate. Uchiha Itachi stood among the crowd, his gaze fixed on the nearby monument, a fight between individuals, but also a fight between nations, so strangers can fight each other senselessly, and many people die senselessly. This is the ninja world, as he thought. He suddenly turned his head as if he realized something. Orochimaru, one of the three ninjas, was alone in an open space. There's no point in mourning the dead. Death has meaning. It only exists when you can use it. Uchiha Itachi approached Orochimaru and observed this powerful man who had made great contributions to the war. He asked, "Then what is the meaning of life?" Orochimaru's hoarse voice remained impassive. "Life has no meaning." He walked aimlessly, and before he knew it, he had reached the Hokage Rock in Konoha. Looking down at the village, his eyes were empty. Life has no meaning. The screams from the battlefield echoed in his ears. And blood and broken limbs constantly appeared before his eyes. The recruitment orders from above, the endless fighting, the constant deaths of ninjas. The sound of the wind passed, and his body began to fall naturally. The meaningless life vanished the next instant. Then what is life? As his body continued to fall, Uchiha Itachi suddenly felt a will to survive deep within his consciousness. However, before he could do anything, a whistle sounded, and a rope was drawn. It tightened around his ankle. The enormous inertia caused by the fall sent him crashing suddenly into the stone wall. Bang! Cough! 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 The impact with the stone wall made him fall. Even with Uchiha Itachi's usually calm demeanor, he couldn't help but get angry at that moment. "Who did this?" "It was me." Suzumiya Musashi's voice sounded from above. "I saw you standing there and suddenly knocked you down, so I quickly pulled you up. Oh, I was scared to death. Luckily, I made it in time." Uchiha Itachi. Suzumiya Musashi struggled to pull Uchiha Itachi up by one end of the rope, then breathed a sigh of relief. "Really? This is what happened to me even when I was just running." "Itachi, are your legs shaking? Don't tell me you don't want to live anymore." The atmosphere was disrupted, and Uchiha Itachi winced from the fall, his face swollen with anger. But after all, Suzumiya Musashi had been trying to save him, and being a cultured man, he couldn't be angry with him. I was practicing taijutsu, and you interrupted me." Realizing that Uchiha Itachi seemed displeased, Suzumiya Musashi nodded at his explanation. "Oh, the search is very intense. You can't practice taijutsu in such a dangerous place. That's it, I won't bother you while you practice. Goodbye." With that, he fled like lightning. Leaving Uchiha Itachi behind always made me feel like something was wrong. After a moment, it suddenly dawned on me. No. He just went to the funeral with me. How could he escape? I asked. Did this guy care about me and come with me? Suzumiya Musashi, who was fleeing far away, breathed a sigh of relief when he saw that Uchiha Itachi couldn't catch him. Wow, I actually saw that famous scene of Itachi jumping off the cliff, and I even landed a punch. I made a ton of money. Chapter 10 Hokage Kakashi. Konoha Training Grounds. Suzumiya Musashi was sweating. After the funeral, he visited Might Guy and stopped worrying when he found he had recovered from his grief. He resumed practicing physical skills. Thanks to the stimulation of the battlefield, upon his return, he intensified his training. He no longer wanted to be cannon fodder. Kakashi, hurry up. I'd like you to meet a little brother. This little brother looks a lot like I did back then. When I see him, I can't help but think of my youth. Uh-oh, I know. I'm coming, soon. Might Guy, dressed in green, pulled a reluctant white-haired man aside and stood in front of Suzumiya Musashi. Hey. Musashi, you're here after all. Ha ha ha. Look, I'd like you to meet a friend, my lifelong enemy, and my best friend, Hokage Kakashi. Suzumiya Musashi, drenched in sweat, said, I know, the ninja genius of Konoha, a powerful being who reached the rank of Jonin at the age of 12, Kakashi-senpai. Kakashi, this is Suzumiya Musashi, a taijutsu genius with a solid foundation. Hello. Hokage Kakashi nodded. The one eye he saw was filled with weariness and sadness. Suzumiya Musashi didn't care, his eyes glistened with sweat. Kakashi-senpai, you and Brother Kai are my role models. I will strive to practice and use all my youth to pursue you. Oh. Youth is so exciting. Musashi, Brother Kai, Musashi, Brother Kai, Musashi, woo woo woo, Hokage Kakashi, Kai, Kakashi, Might Guy, filled with passion, suddenly turned around and said to Hatake Kakashi, his face covered in snot and tears, "The light of youth is so dazzling, let's have a passionate competition. Do you see the Hokage rock in the distance? Let's see who can run towards the third Hokage's head first. If I lose, I'll kick him 1,000 times with weights on my feet. What do you say, Hatake Kakashi?" "No, Senior Kakashi." Suzumiya Musashi clenched his fists and said excitedly, "How can I refuse young brother Kai's invitation? Take me with you. If I fall behind, I'll do 1,000 squats on the third Hokage rock." "No, Might Guy, Kakashi, you know, if you don't agree, whether it's eating, showering, or going to the bathroom, I'll sincerely treat you to the whole day, Kakashi." "Kakashi-senpai, Kakashi-senpai, stop." Kakashi Hatake gestured with his hand, halting them with an increasingly loud tone. "Alright, I promise, let's begin. Kai, this is the last time." Yoshi, Might Guy extended his right hand and, with a flick of his thumb, knocked a stone out of the way and gestured to Kakashi with his thumb. Then he said, "The youngster's invitation is irresistible. Kakashi, Musashi, as soon as the stone falls, it's time to begin. Get ready." Damn it, wham! As soon as the rock hit the ground, 3 people took off running, raising a cloud of dust. Might Guy and Hatake Kakashi rushed to the front, while Suzumiya Musashi's figure grew farther and farther away. He wasn't discouraged. He felt his muscles tremble under the force of his will, providing a powerful propulsion to his body, and his mood was exhilarated. It didn't matter if he couldn't catch him now. One day, he would get closer and closer to the figure in front of him. That day would always come. The wind blew against my cheek, and suddenly, a drop of liquid hit my face. It wasn't Brother Kai's saliva, it must be Kakashi's tears. Watching Kakashi Hatake, who was running more and more frantically and even a body length ahead of Might Guy, Suzumiya Musashi seemed to be thinking about something. The Third Shinobi World War had just ended, and Kakashi Hatake had just lost 2 of his comrades. That's probably why Might Guy brought him here to play with him. "Kakashi, you're worthy of being the one I chase. You won today's competition," Might Guy gasped from the Hokage rock. Huff huff, Kakashi Hatake, who won the game, seemed to be breathing heavily. Sweat all over his body made him look like he'd been pulled from the water, but his eyes were more animated than before. Exciting competition is really refreshing. "Kakashi, next time, I definitely won't lose to you." "Kai, I said this is the last time." "Kakashi, I meant next time." Kakashi, wisely, avoiding arguing with Might Guy, Hatake Kakashi looked at the smoke gradually approaching in the distance and said, "Very energetic kid." "Ridiculous, ha 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 ha," Might Guy laughed awkwardly. "Well, at that time, I was mainly worried about what would happen if I died in battle. Someone has to inherit this technique. Besides, I'll never regret passing it on to Musashi." "Kakashi, you've also noticed that the kid looks a lot like me. Don't you have a talent for ninjutsu?" Hatake said. "Your talent for ninjutsu isn't bad at all, and this is one of the reasons why I'm so touched. This kid obviously has a talent for ninjutsu, but he's able to have such an excellent foundation in taijutsu practice. Such a poor technique can only be passed on thanks to people like this. Your talent for ninjutsu isn't bad at all," Kakashi said quietly. "Might Guy, that's right. Kakashi, you know my talent for ninjutsu was very limited at first, and I couldn't even pass the entrance exam. That's why I put all my energy into taijutsu. But you know, Musashi is different. From the moment I met this kid until now, he's never let up. Not a single day. If you hadn't seen it with your own eyes, it would be hard to believe such character existed in a 4 or 5-year-old. Wait, Kakashi, this kid's taijutsu skills will surprise you." "Really?" Hatake Kakashi looked at the dust cloud that was getting closer and closer. "Then I'll wait and see how well the kid you're so proud of turns out." By the time Suzumiya Musashi ran toward Hokage Rock, Might Guy and the other man had already calmed down. Although he was panting and exhausted, Suzumiya Musashi's eyes still shone. "Brother Kai, I failed. Now I'll keep my promise and do 1,000 squats on the third Hokage rock." "Hey, Musashi, that's great. Failing isn't so terrible. Even I lost to Kakashi again today. Now I'll do 1,000 double kicks with weights." "Kakashi, are you interested in supervising us?" Hatake Kakashi, "Not at all, thank you. Goodbye." With that, he quickly left. After running off, Hatake Kakashi looked back at the two, who had already begun practicing their oath, and couldn't help but sigh. "I thought Kai was already a rare figure in the ninja world, But I didn't expect Musashi to join him. It seems I'll have to stay away from them in the future. If I get entangled with these two, I can't think about it anymore. Chapter 11 Enrollment in the Ninja School. That day, the sky was clear and the sun shone brightly. Suzumiya Musashi, already of school age, stood in the courtyard of the Ninja Academy with a small backpack on his back. The third Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen, was speaking at length from the podium. Children, today is the day you enter school. Here, where leaves dance, fire will also continue, and flames. Let me emphasize one more point, it mainly includes 3 points. Suzumiya Musashi was bored and turned around to look around. Well, some of them looked familiar. Uchiha Itachi was on the team, his delicate and attractive face stood out among the group of young children. There was a girl next to him with a similar painting style, and Suzumiya Musashi looked familiar. Now that I think about it, isn't this the Uchiha who originally treated him suspiciously? She looks nice, seems to be Itachi's girlfriend. What's her name? Beside him, Nojiri Oki accepted the Hokage's influence with an uneasy expression. That's right, this boy also enrolled in the school with him. The Nojiri family had been in the business for generations, but after Suzumiya Musashi rescued them, they felt it was necessary to learn some ninjutsu at school. Furthermore, Suzumiya Musashi was enrolled at the school, and at Nojiri Oki's request, the Nojiri family elders had also sent him. Nojiri Oki restrained himself for a while, but couldn't stand it any longer. Musashi, why don't we run away? This old man is so boring, Suzumiya Musashi said. You can run away if you want. I want to listen carefully to what the Hokage has to say about the will of fire. Nojiri Oki pursed his lips. Tisk. Don't I know you? On the stage, the third Hokage's speech had ended. Children, after this, some of you will stand out, and others will gradually fall behind. I hope that, no matter what happens, you will cherish your time, grow quickly to such a precious age, become branches and leaves that can protect Konoha from wind and rain, inherit a will of fire, and build a promising future for Konoha. Well, let's stop for today. After the speech, Suzumiya Musashi led a round of applause. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at him and gave him a benevolent smile. Suzumiya Musashi seemed thrilled and clapped even louder. After the opening ceremony, the teachers led the students to their respective classrooms in groups. Suzumiya Musashi let out a sigh of satisfaction. He had finally regained the feeling of slacking off in class. He heard a figure swaying beside him and thought it was Nojiri Oki, but when he turned around, he discovered it was Uchiha Itachi. The latter was staring intently at him, his gaze profound. He wanted. But someone else snatched it up first. Suzumiya Musashi couldn't help but smile. You want it? I got it first. Call me Brother Musashi and I'll give it to you. That's right, Suzumiya Musashi's birthday is half a year older than Uchiha Itachi's. Uchiha Itachi said nothing, glanced at Suzumiya Musashi's seat, then at the window seat in the front row, hesitated for a few seconds, and sat next to Suzumiya Musashi. Nojiri Oki, who had just arrived, thought, subconsciously, he wanted to approach and reclaim his seat. However, after seeing Uchiha Itachi wearing clothes with a round fan pattern and sensing the other boss's aura, he hesitated. Then he began to struggle. There were 3 seats at a table. Should he choose the last seat in the same row? Or should he choose the seat opposite Suzumiya Musashi? The seats in the front are closer, but it's inconvenient to turn around and make small movements during class. In the same row, next to the brat Uchiha hated by nature. Before his rear end landed on the stool, a hand gripped his shoulder firmly and pulled him away. Hey! Who's being so bold? He choked mid-sentence. Another Uchiha and a girl. Amidst the jealous glances of several girls behind her, the girl sat down right next to Uchiha Itachi. Itachi, do you know this person? I sat next to him without waiting. I know him, said Uchiha Itachi. How did you two meet? Asked the girl. Hey. He's more than just an acquaintance. Suzumiya Musashi suddenly leaned forward, put his arm around Uchiha Itachi's shoulders, and said with a smile, I'm Itachi's good brother. I'm Suzumiya Musashi. We've met before. Have you seen him before? The girl looked at Suzumiya Musashi. His facial features were quite handsome, but what on earth was he wearing? It was so repulsive. If you've seen him with your own eyes, it's impossible not to be impressed. Impossible, we must not have met before, that's because you remembered it wrong. A year ago, at Ichiraku Ramen, you and Itachi met me in Oki. Have you forgotten? Suzumiya Musashi reminded him. And then her eyes widened. You two were the 2 sly beggars back then, Nojiri Oki, who was sitting in front, turned around and retorted, "Hey, hey, hey, what beggar? He's a handsome guy who went to great lengths to bring back important information for Konoha." The girl looked them up and down. "Well, one is an alternative guy with normal facial features but strange clothes, and the other is a miserable guy with white hair. Forget it, I can't look at him anymore. I'm Nojiri Oki, this is Suzumiya Musashi. What's your name?" Nojiri Oki asked. "Izumi, Uchiha Izumi." Uchiha Izumi also wanted to ask about the relationship between Uchiha Itachi and Suzumiya Musashi, but Uchiha Itachi replied that they were people who met on the battlefield. "Hello, students. I'm your tutor, Shumu. Now, please introduce yourselves." Seeing the younger version of Mizuki on stage, Suzumiya Musashi was stunned for a moment. But think about it, Mizuki at that time must have been just a simple ninja school teacher, so it's nothing. "Hello, my name is Okamura Shinritsu and my hobby is," the students introduced themselves, all excited or nervous. After listening for a while, Suzumiya Musashi lost interest. They all said things like, "My dream is to become Hokage, my dream is to become the strongest ninja, my dream is to be Zaiahu's boyfriend," and so on. It was hilarious to hear them. "My name is Nojiri Oki. I like painting and beautiful women, and I hate ugly ones. My dream is to become a famous art master in the ninja world." Tisk. You like beautiful women, but you don't even look at yourself, with your weird white hair. Exactly. And you hate ugly women. Just hearing that is really unpleasant. After Nojiri Oki finished his presentation, there was a burst of boos in the classroom, but he didn't care. Then it was Suzumiya Musashi's turn. "My name is Suzumiya Musashi. I like training young people and I hate people who want me to be lazy. My dream is to become an excellent ninja like my father and my brother Kai." This guy looks good, but he's so weird. Yeah, he feels so weird. What kind of youth training is this? Who's brother Kai? Forget it, boring guys. Let's see the handsome Uchiha. "I'm Uchiha Itachi. I like a quiet life and hate fighting. I don't have a dream yet." It was an ordinary introduction, but it still caused many girls to whisper. "So handsome, he's really handsome, his voice is great, I love it." The voices were unmistakable in the classroom. For a moment, many boys gave a hostile look. "I'm Uchiha Izumi. I like cats and hate dirty things. My dream is to live a life I like." The days at the Ninja Academy were quiet and uneventful. After the start of the school year, the ninja training courses, one after another, focused mainly on subjects like ninja history, the will of fire, and chakra refinement techniques. Things like intelligence, stalking, and disguises could only be learned in the upper grades. In all subjects, Suzumiya Musashi and Nojiri Oki's performance was rather mediocre. Uchiha Itachi was different. He and Uchiha Izumi were far ahead of their classmates. Whether answering questions in class or teaching outdoors, they could both elicit many gasps of admiration. And same-sex jealousy. Suzumiya Musashi saw with his own eyes that several classmates were so jealous they couldn't control their expressions because Uchiha Itachi attracted everyone's admiration. However, after seeing Uchiha Itachi's strength, several classmates seamlessly transitioned from "he's too arrogant, kill him," to "Itachi, it's incredible, let's get involved with him, if you can't beat it, just join in." School days are nostalgic, but when you actually go back to school, it's different. He soon grew tired of school life. The main reason was that going to school seriously affected his time for physical training. He needed to practice and improve his strength. Only with great power could he feel somewhat secure. Suddenly, he turned and looked at Uchiha Itachi beside him. If I remember correctly, Itachi should be studying with a Kage clone now. After thinking about it, he gathered his things and left. "Quan, if the teacher asks, just say I have diarrhea," and he ran out of the classroom. Chapter 12: The Art of the Shadow Clone. A forest near the Uchiha clan's territory. Suzumiya Musashi walked for a while and found Uchiha Itachi practicing the kunai throwing technique. "Ha! I found you." Uchiha Itachi, who was practicing, was a little surprised by Suzumiya Musashi's sudden appearance. "Using your shadow clone to skip class?" "Yes." "So, you've come to ask me to go back to classes?" Suzumiya Musashi shook his head and said, "Classes at school are too boring, and Ms. Mizuki's level is also very low. I came to you because I need your help with something." "What is it?" asked Uchiha Itachi, moving his hands frantically, and the kunai landed precisely in the center of the wooden rake at various difficult angles. Suzumiya Musashi said, "I want you to teach me the shadow clone technique." Uchiha Itachi stopped his movements. Shadow clone technique, Suzumiya Musashi said, yes. If you teach me the shadow clone technique, I can pay you, including tuition and ninjutsu. You know, it would be very difficult to find a village where I could learn. No, why not? The shadow clone technique is a B-rank ninjutsu. Without a certain level of strength, it's impossible to practice it. Suzumiya Musashi instantly became enraged. Are you mocking my lack of strength? Uchiha Itachi said, I'm not mocking you. If you practice advanced ninjutsu beforehand, it's dangerous. You can wait a little longer. When your strength improves a bit, I'll be able to teach you. Suzumiya Musashi felt somewhat powerless, being underestimated by a genius. He thought for a moment and said, Itachi, I'm serious. School courses take up too much of my time, so I hope you can teach me the shadow clone technique. If you can teach me, I guarantee two things. First, if it doesn't work, I'll never force myself to practice. I'll give it to you every day, and you'll have a good time. Uchiha Itachi. Finally, after Suzumiya Musashi's sincere plea, Uchiha Itachi was persuaded and taught him the shadow clone technique. After Itachi finished teaching him and explaining all the precautions, Suzumiya Musashi planned to leave. Uchiha Itachi called after him, where are you going? Suzumiya Musashi replied, go home and practice slowly. Uchiha Itachi pointed to the ground and said calmly, practice here, I'll watch you. Suzumiya Musashi was stunned. Is this guy worried about me making mistakes in my training? Really? Thinking it over, he obediently sat on the ground and slowly mobilized his chakra according to the hand seals and execution methods of the shadow clone technique. Oh, a twisted mass of unknown matter appeared next to Suzumiya Musashi, and before he could react, it dissipated with a burst. Uchiha Itachi frowned and said, the chakra wasn't mobilized in time, and the hand seals weren't very standard. But it's alright, let's do it again. Shadow clone technique. Oh, the seal is standard, but the chakra flow isn't coordinated. Let's do it again. Shadow clone technique. Oh, the chakra is too strong. How can the spell be so successful? Try it again. Oh, come back, I can't believe it. Shadow clone technique. Oh, return. After a long time, Uchiha Itachi stopped practicing ninjutsu. Suzumiya Musashi's chakra was depleted. Although he didn't want to avoid hurting himself, he had to wait for him to recover before continuing to practice. Itachi, how many times have you succeeded in your training? Uchiha Itachi said expressionlessly. Twice? Damn it, cursed Suzumiya Musashi. He had tried more than 20 times and still hadn't succeeded. Was this the difference between him and a genius? Uchiha Itachi said, you don't need to be sad. First of all, you're too young, you're not old enough to practice this technique. Also, B-level ninjutsu requires a high level of chakra control, so it's inevitable that ordinary people will struggle to master it at first. Suzumiya Musashi said dejectedly, the difference between you and I'm too big. Uchiha Itachi said, you don't have to compare yourself to me, it's pointless. In fact, you've made great progress. Chakra control and ninjutsu training require long-term practice. The important thing is that whenever I point out a problem, you can remember it and make adjustments. Even if I haven't yet reached the point of being able to execute it successfully, at least the improvements are evident. Well, you don't need to comfort me. I'll leave it here for today. Thank you. Suzumiya Musashi took his leave and departed. After he left, the corners of Uchiha Itachi's lips curled slightly. Well, my father was right. To master the shadow clone technique as quickly as possible, Suzumiya Musashi would go to Uchiha Itachi every day at noon to practice ninjutsu. I even met Uchiha Shisu once. Out of curiosity and an appreciation for his strength, Suzumiya Musashi spoke with the other party with great interest for a while, discussing the youthful ninja way and the will of fire, and they had a very pleasant conversation. This Uchiha Itachi guy is truly envious. This made Suzumiya Musashi marvel in his heart. After continuous practice, a week later, he finally managed to perform the shadow clone technique. Suzumiya Musashi was basically satisfied. Although he couldn't compare to this Uchiha Itachi guy, being able to master the shadow clone at a young age was considered quite good among ninjas. Moreover, he hadn't dedicated much time to chakra training. Suzumiya Musashi felt he could meet the basic requirements to practice this technique. The spiritual aspect was attributed to the spiritual strength from his 2 lives as a human. The physical aspect could be the talent inherited from Suzumiya Kenta, and more likely due to arduous and prolonged training. He firmly believed that a strong physique was the foundation of a ninja. As his body grew stronger through rigorous training, the amount of chakra he could draw upon also increased. After completing his ninjutsu training, Suzumiya Musashi bid farewell to Uchiha, feeling a little sad. Perhaps he's reluctant to leave because they can no longer practice together. Suzumiya Musashi thought. Chapter 13. It's okay to be content with what you want. After mastering the shadow clone technique, Suzumiya Musashi didn't send the shadow clone to school immediately. He planned to improve his mastery of shadow clones. After all, if the shadow clones exploded at school like Itachi's, things would get complicated. Ninja Tool Workshop. Starting today, he plans to officially begin chakra training. Previously, he had dedicated all his energy to physical training because he understood one thing: the human body is the raft that carries you through life. How can you survive in the ninja world if you have a weak body? There are many negative examples in the ninja world. What if Kurama Yukimo of Konoha had the strongest mental power in his clan? The ability to attack and defeat enemies, but he had a weak waist and prematurely said goodbye to his happy life? Moonlight Gale, I feel so weak, it's a waste of something so beautiful. Even Uchiha, the undisputed genius of Konoha, who relied on his talent for ninjutsu and a world-contemplating gaze, ended up suffering from a terminal illness. These examples fully illustrate a truth: for most ninjas, a healthy body is fundamental to being a strong ninja. Therefore, although Suzumiya Musashi had successfully refined chakra long ago, he didn't focus on practicing it because of this consideration. Now it's different. The courses at the Ninja Academy have considerably delayed his physical training. To solve the time problem, shadow clones are indispensable. Now that you've learned the shadow clone technique, it's reasonable to have the shadow clone practice ninjutsu simultaneously to deplete your chakra, and then use the new shadow clone to go to school the next day, avoiding the risk of being late on your way. Hold the chakra paper in your hand, mobilize your body's chakra to slowly cover it, and silently observe the changes in the paper. In an instant, the chakra paper tore in two. Then, most of the paper began to burst into flames and crumple. The small portion that remained slowly became damp or crumbled under the chakra coating. Suzumiya Musashi confirmed the properties of his chakra. The wind attribute is the most active, the fire and thunder attributes are second, and the earth and water attributes are the worst. My stingy father, Kenta Suzumiya, also knows wind ninjutsu. It's a world where you depend on your father. Now that the nature of the chakra is clear, let's start practicing ninjutsu, one shadow clone a day. After the success of the shadow clone technique, Suzumiya Musashi's life became more fulfilling. During the day, I sneak off to practice taijutsu, and at night, I go to Chiriko Ramen to help out. I chat with Ayame and the guy who claps his hands to relieve the day's fatigue. The shadow clone studies quietly at school during the day and practices ninjutsu at home at night until its chakra is depleted and dissipates, then transfers the newly acquired knowledge and experience to the original body. If I have a free weekend, I go to the Konoha training grounds and spend some time with my guy, who visits occasionally. He likes such ordinary days. Only when the school organizes outdoor battles does he go to school in person, leaving the shadow clones to practice ninjutsu at home. Well, one shadow clone per day, to develop a habit. On this day, the day of the battle test, Suzumiya Musashi came to the school in person. A group of people gathered in the middle of the playground, watching the two fight back and forth. Cheering and shouting, very excited. Suzumiya Musashi and Nojiri Oki stood on the periphery and whispered to each other. I saw the sketch you drew yesterday. Even though it's not colored yet, the style is really good. It's the effect I was going for. Damu, you're getting better and better at painting. No, your story is excellent too, Musashi. The Lost Spy in Kumagakure has a perfect plot. How did you come up with such a plot? Obviously, we're about the same age, my drawing skills are just as good as yours. Maybe, this will be great, ha, that's true. By the way, have you prepared for the publication of the last volume, The Widow of the Man Hidden in the Rain? Let's hope it's not like last time, when the bookstore sold out before customers could even buy it. Don't worry, my uncle locked himself in his room one night after seeing the artwork, and decided to triple the print run the very next day. This time he'll really give Intimate Paradise a run for its money. That's great, Musashi. When the royalties come in, I'll take you to some hot springs. It would be boring to earn so much money just to buy ninja tools. No, I need to practice. How could my fiery youth be affected by hot springs? Not just hot springs, I've heard that a master can also relieve fatigue and muscle pain. Very spicy, Musashi. Well, then go and try it, just this once. Hey, 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 bang! A flying fist slammed into Nojiri Oki's head. What a noise. I can't even hear what master is saying. Uchiha Izumi, standing to the side, slowly lowered the fist. Hey. I was speaking quietly, damn it. It hurts. Nojiri Oki rubbed his forehead with his hands, his face contorted in anger. It's because your voice is so soft that it's even more annoying. And your expression is so obscene that it disgusts me, Uchiha Izumi said. Nojiri Oki was instantly furious. If he could defeat Uchiha Izumi, he would be even angrier. Okay, Oki, don't mess with her, Suzumiya Musashi advised. To prevent him from getting hit again, Nojiri Oki said, isn't she sick? She's just teaching, why should she care what we do? Suzumiya Musashi said thoughtfully, maybe she's in a bad mood and doesn't like you. What does her bad mood have to do with me? Violent girl, I curse her so she never finds a boyfriend. Lower your voice or she'll hit you again. Haven't you noticed? Itachi has been spending less time with her lately. Nojiri Oki's depressed expression suddenly turned excited. So, Itachi dumped her? That's great, Uchiha Izumi. Suzumiya Musashi shook her head and said, that's not right. To be precise, Itachi has never admitted that he and I are dating. So, Nojiri Oki's eyes lit up, so Izumi is only thinking about her desires and can't get the love she wants. Right, Uchiha Spring, Van, Suzumiya Musashi said, don't talk nonsense, this is just a guess. Recently, Itachi's mother gave birth to a younger brother, and that boy has been thinking about him lately, Nojiri Oki. So Izumi was left alone and ostracized, and this violent girl took out her anger on me. Right, Uchiha Izumi, Ovano. Oh, the fist with a glowing afterimage struck Nojiri Oki in the head, and he fell unconscious to the ground. Mizuki and his classmates also focused their attention on him. Uchiha Izumi clenched his fists tightly, his entire body seemingly enveloped in shadow. Master Mizuki, may I take the initiative and challenge you? Shumu smiled kindly and said. I'm Izumi. You're already number 1. Is there anyone in the class you'd like to challenge? Uchiha Kwan pointed and said, I challenge them. Suzumiya Musashi, Master, can I simply admit defeat? Suzumiya Musashi raised his hand and cursed himself for talking too much. Musashi, don't refuse a close quarters battle between classmates. Mizuki's face was radiant. Besides, fighting an exceptional person like Izumi is also a unique opportunity to hone your skills. Suzumiya Musashi scratched his head. He didn't want to fight Izumi right now. This guy Shumu, even though he was smiling now, had very bad intentions. He must be getting revenge on me for skipping his class. You can't blame yourself for this. Like a man who plays the role of the nice goat in the world of Naruto, Shumu is just as his name suggests, and his teaching level is also very low. After his contact with Might Guy, Kakashi, and Uchiha Itachi, Suzumiya Musashi's horizons became increasingly higher. I couldn't understand the lesson of water mixed with a will of fire at all. Just when my head was throbbing, Uchiha Izumi. I already walked to the center and made the opposing seal. Act. Suzumiya Musashi, well, Kwan, how about we negotiate, compete, or something? Forget it, I'm no match for you. Oh, that's very cowardly. That's right, if you don't have the strength, you can't even try, can you? Suzumiya Musashi's admission of weakness made the students present look down on him. Uchiha Kwan said, don't hesitate, be a man and act fast. Suzumiya Musashi said, just because you're a man doesn't mean you can fight girls. Think about it, fighting and training involve physical contact, how awful is that? Besides, what I just said doesn't make sense. Itachi should still be worried about you, it's just that Itachi recently got a younger brother, so he inevitably needs someone to take care of him. His brother's name is Sasuke, and he's so cute. I've even held him before. And the little guy loves to laugh. The blood vessels on Uchiha Izumi's forehead were bulging, and her small fists were so tight they made a cracking sound. Just yesterday, when she went to look for Itachi, she saw his younger brother and hugged him to express her closeness. As a result, he rejected her. Seeing Suzumiya Musashi showing off in front of him, she felt that the green tights were both dazzling and hateful. Act, Suzumiya Musashi. Suzumiya Musashi attempts one last struggle. No, Izumi. You have to understand that the bond between classmates is more than just competition and training. Itachi's just been busy lately, don't worry about it too much, even if Itachi really is ignoring you, if things really aren't working out, It's not impossible for me to be with you. Brother Kai once told me that young people, Uchiha Izumi raised her fist. Die? Suzumiya Musashi. Chapter 14, the first opening of the 8-gate Dungeon. Musashi, are you ready? Ready. Konoha training grounds. Under Might Guy's care, Suzumiya Musashi nodded. Might Guy said in a deep voice, then let's begin, Musashi. If you get hurt, I'm here to help you. I can get you to Konoha Hospital as quickly as possible. Gates. Under Might Guy's guidance, he had simulated it many times and found the position of the first gate with ease. His chakra was fast and steady, under control. Open the gate, open it. The first time he broke through the barrier, he felt a slight prick. After successfully breaking through, Suzumiya Musashi felt the change instantly. Ninjutsu opens, removing the brain's restrictions and allowing a person to exert 100% of their physical capabilities. Simply put, the more control you have over your body, the easier it is to break through. Might Guy's voice echoed in his ears. Musashi, carefully gauge your current strength. If you truly want to master the 8 gates, you need a strong character, to temper your spirit day after day, to transcend your body and control it at a level far superior to others. Now you can understand your own power. Suzumiya Musashi opened his eyes and, under Might Guy's gaze, slowly walked toward a tree as thick as a cube. He raised his fist and struck cautiously. Bang! The large tree shook violently. His body withstood the blow and could even push back harder. Bang! Had some minor drawbacks. It wasn't powerful enough. It could easily cause serious injuries, and kill quickly. The source of the enhanced strength of the 8 gates of ninjutsu resided within the mage's own body. Only when the mage was strong could the 8 gates of ninjutsu be powerful. The mage was weak and could only open 6 gates and shout from the side. Therefore, tedious and painful practice was the first obstacle to unleashing the power of the 8 gates of ninjutsu. The second obstacle is controlling the body. From the 3rd gate, the gate of life, to the 7th, the gate of shock, all continuously increase the mage's physical strength. The most dangerous gates are the 1st, 2nd, and 8th. Needless to say, the 8th gate, one can only expect death after opening it. The 1st gate opens to remove the brain's limitations, and the 2nd closes to remove the limitations of physical fatigue. Without exceptional body control, one's hands and feet will break during an attack. Take Might Guy, for example. Starting at the 7th level of Day Tiger, he has begun using air pressure to attack. Part of the reason is that once a physical entity makes contact with him in this state, his body is prone to collapse. After the 8 gates, physical attacks can only last for a single strike, a moment of glory. Bang! 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 Carefully sensing the increase in his body's strength and stamina, Suzumiya Musashi, who was gradually becoming familiar with it, stopped. Brother Kai, I want to continue, let's begin. Musashi. Zoom. Open. The 3rd gate, the living gate, open. Blood flowed in torrents. The energy stored in his flesh began to surge through his body, and Suzumiya Musashi's face turned red. Suzumiya Musashi, who was controlling it with all his might, didn't hear Might Guy's words. A powerful, unprecedented sensation surged in his heart. At that moment, he even wanted to kick the 9-tailed fox before him. He tried to control that powerful body piece by piece. A punch, a slap, a whip-like kick, and a leap. He felt he could still go on. But it wasn't necessary. Sensing that it was time, he began to try to contain that energy. Close the gates of your body. But it's not easy. Might Guy said, feel it, Musashi. If you manage it by yourself, you can only wait for the energy that has exploded in your body to be released. You will also enter a period overcome with intense fatigue. Suzumiya Musashi said, I'll do my best, Brother Kai. Might Guy said, very well, Musashi. It depends on how much you practice in the coming days. Come on, young man. Suzumiya Musashi tried to close it with all his might, but he couldn't. It wasn't until the energy fluctuations in his body gradually weakened that he roared and finally managed to close the gate of life. The 2 front gates are very easy to close. Huh? Sitting on the ground, Suzumiya Musashi gasped deeply. Musashi, very well, you're faster than I expected. It seems you can return alone today. I've set my sights on defeating my father and you. Next time, I'll definitely be faster and stronger. Great. Musashi, this is the power of youth. Nojiri Oki and Suzumiya Musashi left together. Lying in the hot springs, enjoying the masseur's muscle massage on his back, Suzumiya Musashi squinted to comfort himself. How is it going? Not bad, right? Oh, if you hadn't invited me so insistently, I wouldn't have come. Tisk. Nojiri Oki ignored him and closed his eyes to enjoy it. Suzumiya Musashi also began to think about what he had accomplished today. He had successfully opened the third gate and taken a step forward in physical training. If he maintained this training method, it seemed he might be able to catch up to Might Guy in the future. However, the difficulty of controlling the 8 gates of ninjutsu worried him a little. The first gates were fine, but the more he practiced, the greater the side effects of the 8 gates of ninjutsu. After using them, it was like Kakashi Hatake after using his Sharingan. He would be weak for a long time. He wasn't satisfied with the status quo. What he didn't want was to activate all 8 gates of ninjutsu for a day and die of exhaustion because he couldn't close the valves in his body. How could they make closing the 8 gates easier and stable? The most basic method is to practice a lot and increase control over the body to an increasingly terrifying level, to achieve the goal of closing the body's barriers. This method is too difficult. Not only has no one succeeded, but it's also not ideal in theory. This Might Guy's goal with this control is to try to control the closing of fewer than 7 gates. In the end, the 8th gate couldn't be closed no matter what. The path of body control is difficult, so you can try other ideas. Suzumiya Musashi already has some ideas. 8 Gates of Ninjutsu is a game that opens the barrier of the human body and ultimately burns the life force to obtain enormous power. If you want to save your life, extinguish it. Second, use external force to close the open shackles. He hadn't found a solution for the first, but there was hope for the second. It's something different from Might Guy. All the previous practitioners of 8 Gates Ninjutsu were people with little to no talent for ninjutsu. People like Might Guy, and later Rock Lee, possess this characteristic. A ninja with a talent for ninjutsu wouldn't place their hopes on a forbidden technique that is time-consuming, difficult to practice, and can easily lead to death. But he is different. Although compared to a genius like Uchiha, his talent is simply worthless. But here, Suzumiya Musashi, possesses the greatest talent in ninjutsu among all practitioners of the 8 Gates of Ninjutsu. Just because Might Guy and Rock Lee can't do it doesn't mean he can't either. In the ninja world, ninjutsu that allows for strong control, the sealing technique, is undoubtedly a powerful existence. In the ninja system, it is a highly difficult ninjutsu independent of the 5 elements escape technique, involving the range of yin and yang escape, 4 symbol seal, 5 elements seal, 8 trigram seal, and Vajra seal. If one has practiced at a high level and has the power to seal even the tailed beasts, he should be able to control his own chakra. His talent in ninjutsu is different from Might Guy's and Rock Lee's, so it's definitely worth a try. If he succeeds, he will have taken a great leap forward in the practice of the 8 Gates of Ninjutsu, an advancement no one has made before. As a scientific researcher in my previous life, the instinct to explore and experiment is an essential quality. If he can truly combine the 8 gates and the sealing technique, it could be considered that he has opened new areas in the exploration of ninjutsu. It's exciting to think about. Now that we have an idea, the next step is how to implement it. He wanted to learn sealing techniques or yin-yang escape, but there was no one around who knew how. Is there anyone in all of Konoha who knows sealing techniques? Danzo, the third Hokage, the Sannin, and some veteran ninja. None of them are a good source of learning. Otherwise, he can only go to the Hokage and trade for merit. Now that Minato is in power, it's a good time. Also, the birth Sasuke's presence made him feel increasingly urgent, as Naruto's birth during the Nine-Tails Rebellion shouldn't be far off. He needed to improve his resources and strength as much as possible. If he wasn't strong enough, a random rock dragged by the Nine-Tails could cost him his life. It seems I have to take advantage of the Nine-Tails Rebellion and find a way to learn yin-yang release before Minato explodes. Otherwise, it will be even more troublesome when the third generation ascends the throne again. Thinking about this, Suzumiya Musashi had an idea. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 15 Minato, Suzumiya Musashi is a very good boy. That day, taking advantage of the school holidays, Suzumiya Musashi went to the Hokage building. Luckily, Naruto works year-round, otherwise, he would have had to find a way to skip school. After asking a few questions and telling the Hokage that he wanted to exchange merits for his achievements, he met the fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze, who had just assumed the position. His blonde hair was covered by the Hokage hat, and his face still looked tired from work. Upon seeing Suzumiya Musashi enter, he smiled kindly. He was quite handsome, but unfortunately, he died young. Suzumiya Musashi, is that right? I heard you want to redeem your father's merits, Suzumiya Musashi said. Yes, Hokage-sama. Since the amount is relatively large, I need your consent. Let's see. Namikaze Minato flipped through the documents. Well, I found it. Kenta Suzumiya, Chunin, you have an A-rank mission to accumulate merit while in hiding. You seem like an excellent ninja. So, Musashi, what do you want to trade? Ninjutsu or other resources? Hokage-sama, I want to trade them for training materials for yin-yang release, said Suzumiya Musashi. Yin-yang release. Namikaze Minato was a little surprised. Musashi, why do you want to trade this? Although you're free to trade it for anything, it's still too early for you to practice yin-yang release. Suzumiya Musashi had already thought of a reason. Hokage-sama, I heard from the ninja schoolmaster that if you want to learn medical ninjutsu, you should start with the fundamentals of yin-yang release. Saga, Musashi, you want to become excellent medical ninja, right? That's a good idea. Suzumiya Musashi nodded and said, yes, Lord Hokage, I must become an excellent medical ninja. On the battlefield, I saw too many ninja die, and I couldn't do anything about it. Hokage-sama, do you know how sad I was at that time? Namikaze Minato's eyes froze. He whispered, really? You were sent to the battlefield? You've seen the cruelty of war, so you want to learn medicine for your friends. Hokage-sama, he exclaimed with determination. Ordinary ninjutsu can't save any more comrades. Please let me learn. I'll do my best to become an excellent medical ninja. But Musashi, you're so old. Namikaze Minato wanted to say something, but seeing the determination and hope that radiated from Suzumiya Musashi, he finally changed the subject. Okay. He approached, extended his hand, and stroked his hair, smiling encouragingly. Musashi, I agree. Yes, Suzumiya Musashi was thrilled. The plan had worked. Start by learning the yin-yang escape and gradually prepare for the sealing technique. And what is medical ninjutsu? Sorry, fourth Hokage, but studying medicine can't save the ninja world. Just as I was getting excited, I heard Namikaze Minato continue, but let's put aside the exchange of merits for now. After all, these are the merits our parents accumulated with great effort. Well, wait until I get off work and come with me. I'll take you to see someone. If you want to learn the yin-yang escape, let's see what your talents are first. Hokage-sama, this seems to be your residence, he asked uncertainly. Namikaze Minato, yes, then he opened the door. Kushina, I'm back. The next instant, an angry voice came from the room. Minato, you promised me you'd leave work early. Why are you so late again today? I'm the only one taking care of the house. Do you understand a husband's responsibilities? So what if you became Hokage? If I hadn't left and supported you, could you have become this Hokage? And you left me alone at home in the blink of an eye. This is too much. Namikaze Minato's smile was somewhat stiff, and then he turned to Suzumiya Musashi and said, my wife, Uzumaki Kushina, is a little impatient. As he spoke, a red-haired figure emerged from the room. Her visibly pregnant belly didn't hinder her movements. Her pretty face was filled with anger at that moment, expressing her dissatisfaction with her husband, who was too preoccupied with work. I was a little surprised to see that there was a child next to my husband. Minato, why did you bring a small child? Well, there are a few things I need you to do for me. Namikaze Minato scratched his head. Uzumaki Kushina's anger, which had just subsided, flared up again. So, not only do you work overtime every day, but now you've even gone so far as to bring your work home, haven't you? Wave. Wind. Water. Door. Suzumiya Musashi felt his ears ring. Kushina, you misunderstood me. Namikaze Minato hastened to explain. This is Suzumiya Musashi, an exceptional genius, a young man who has implemented the will of fire. Determined to become a medical ninja and save more comrades, he yearns to learn the knowledge of yin-yang escape. It's a pity his father died for the village and there's no one around to teach him. Minato Namikaze looked at Uzumaki Kushina, whose expression softened upon learning of Suzumiya Musashi's situation, and breathed a sigh of relief. Then, he took her hand and said gently, and you, my Kushina, are the most outstanding ninja with the greatest achievements in yin-yang tsukashi among all those I know. I want you to help me teach Musashi." The anger on Uzumaki Kushina's face gradually faded. "You should have at least told me. You brought me home so suddenly. What if they misunderstood me as a cruel person? How could you?" Namake's Minato interrupted. "You are the sweetest wife in my heart." Seeing that Uzumaki Kushina's expression was becoming uncomfortable, he continued, "Besides, didn't you say that being alone lately is boring? This is a good opportunity to teach this child more. Only under your guidance will he be able to fully develop his talent." "Well, I understand, let it go." "That's right, Kushina. Go talk to Musashi first, he's a very cheerful boy. I'll go inside and take care of other things." Until Minato Namake's left, Suzumiya Musashi had a moment of doubt, noticing how Kushina's expression softened. "Hokage." Seeing Kushina scrutinize him from head to toe, he composed himself and gave a perfect smile. "Lady Kushina, my name is Suzumiya Musashi. I've known your name for a long time. You're a very powerful kunoichi in Konoha. Also, this red hair is lovely." Behind some walls, Minato Namikaze patted his chest with a relaxed expression and exhaled. It would be great to have someone who could distract Kushina. I hope that boy's will of fire is stronger and he can hold out a little longer. Chapter 16 Kushina's Teachings. Yin-Yang Dun is a set of secret techniques passed down by the Sage of Six Paths. It utilizes yin power, the spiritual energy that controls imagination, to create form from nothing, and yang power, the physical energy that controls life, to give life to form. Yin Dun represents spiritual power, and Yang Dun represents physical power. The combination of both constitutes the complete Yin-Yang Dun technique. The medical ninjutsu you want to learn is a branch of yin-yang escape training. If you want to be a good medical ninja, capable of healing physical wounds, you only need to focus on mastering the yang escape technique. If you want to be the best medical ninja, like Tsunade, one of the three ninja, you need both, to be able to heal both physical wounds and mental damage. In the hall, Uzumaki Kushina explained the basics of yin-yang release. "Sister Kushina, I want them all," Suzumiya Musashi responded immediately. Originally, out of respect, he called her Kushina-sama, but after seeing her expression, he tactfully changed his address. Bang! A light tap on the head. "Don't interrupt me until I've finished speaking," Kushina said. "If you want to learn the yin-yang escape, it also depends on your talent. There are many medical ninja in Konoha's medical school, but how many can master both techniques? Just knowing the fairy palm technique is considered a treasure. You're not allowed to learn yin-yang escape techniques at your age. Students at ninja schools usually start with chakra ninjutsu without attributes and can only learn about nature changes upon graduation. As for the yin-yang escape technique, mastering nature changes is fundamental to its practice. You need to precisely control the ratio of spiritual power to physical energy during the chakra synthesis process, and then use specific methods to extract more complex properties, such as yin release chakra and yang release chakra, in addition to the 5 basic attributes: wind, thunder, fire, earth, and water. Let's start with a relatively simple yang release chakra. I'll teach you how to refine and control it. You can learn as much as you can. Minato said you're a genius, so don't disappoint me. That's what Minato Namikaze said. I didn't say that. Suzumiya Musashi wanted to cry, but she had no tears. That's all for today. From now on, come to my house after school and on weekends. If you have any questions, please be prepared in advance. I want to see your progress and practice. Sister Kushina, can I skip classes and come here when I'm at school? Alright, Uzumaki Kushina smiled. It's up to you. Suzumiya Musashi thought for a moment and said, forget it, it would be too obvious to skip classes all the time, and he didn't intend to reveal the fact of his shadow clone now. Kushina, I'll go back first. Please tell the Hokage I'll do my best. Goodbye. The yin-yang escape study began. Suzumiya Musashi was better than Minato Namikaze had expected. Excellence didn't refer to talent in ninjutsu practice, but to character. Perhaps it was because the bloody red pepper character was inherently violent, so when teaching Suzumiya Musashi, Uzumaki Kushina resorted to violence at every turn. Whether it was hitting her forehead or her head. I've been practicing for so long, but I still haven't mastered it. That's not how you refine yang release chakra. Idiot. Bang. I told you not to interrupt me when I'm speaking. Bang. Are you mobilizing your chakra in your large intestine? You idiot. Bang. Grieved. Sister Kushina, it's obviously very difficult. And if Lord Minato said anything, go find him, how dare you answer back, boom. Boom. After several days in a row, Suzumiya Musashi felt his head harden from the blows. Just when Minato seemed reluctant and thought Suzumiya Musashi was about to give up, he persisted. And often, the next instant he was being hit, and the next, he was already flattering Kushina. Wow. Sister Kushina, what you said makes a lot of sense. You deserve to be the strongest kunoichi, Sugoi. Can you control chakra like that, Sister Kushina? How can you scrub the floor by yourself? Lord Minato is so careless. Put me down, Sister Kushina. The fried rice you made is delicious, isn't it? I've never had such delicious fried rice in my life. I'll clean it up later. I want another big bowl. Sister Kushina, you hit me on the head 3 more times today than yesterday. Are you in a bad mood? Was Lord Minato late again? Seriously, even though Lord Minato is the Hokage, he can't be too overbearing. How can I let Sister Kushina be bored all by herself? Sister Kushina, how about I tell you some gossip from our class? I have a friend named Nojiri Oki. He tells me all the class gossip, including which girl has a crush on whom, which boy cries after not confessing his love, and which couple secretly kisses behind the classroom. I'm telling you not to tell anyone. Sister Kushina, how are you feeling? If you're not happy, you can hit me on the head a couple more times. I'm a man who also practices the way of the junior ninja, so I can take a beating. Namake's Minato was surprised to find that, when he arrived home lately, Kushina's aura didn't seem as intimidating as before. When there's nothing to do, I don't always feel like going home. Kushina's prenatal syndrome should be over by now. Even though Musashi's son isn't that talented, he has a really good personality, Namake's Minato muttered. Chapter 17, Become Kushina's apprentice. Time passes as imperceptibly as money is spent. After receiving instruction from Uzumaki Kushina, Suzumiya Musashi reflected deeply. The practice of yin-yang release is undoubtedly more difficult than ordinary ninjutsu. Being defeated by Uzumaki Kushina confirmed once again that his ninja talent was mediocre. Uzumaki Kushina was a very responsible teacher. Although she hit and scolded him harshly, she always made an effort to answer Suzumiya Musashi's questions. As a member of the Uzumaki clan, practicing yin-yang release came easily to him, so he didn't understand why Suzumiya Musashi had to practice for so long just to control the flow of chakra. Isn't it something that can hit anything you point at? Can't you just clap your hands like King Kong's block? It took him almost a month to master Yang Dun's chakra refinement. This speed drove Kushina mad many times, and she called Minato a great liar. However, in subsequent practice of yin chakra, Suzumiya Musashi had unexpected success and mastered it in a week. Uzumaki Kushina was surprised to find that she actually believed Suzumiya Musashi's efficiency was already very fast. As he progressed in his training, Suzumiya Musashi looked younger and more radiant every day. My mood became increasingly depressed. He found himself developing feelings for Kushina that he shouldn't have. Feelings similar to those I felt for Nojiri Oki, the uncle who clapped his hands, and even for Ayame. After spending time together, he gradually became familiar with Uzumaki Kushina, and their relationship deepened. At first, he wanted to take advantage of Minato Namake's reign to exchange information about yin-yang escape for his own practice. Later, when someone asked about his progress in practice, he said he had no talent for the yin-yang escape and failed. Unexpectedly, by accident, he accepted Uzumaki Kushina's teachings. The other party isn't an NPC in the game, but a person. The person who stands before Suzumiya Musashi, laughs when happy, shakes her fist when angry, and even comforts him after his many failures. In this cruel ninja world, there aren't many innocent and kind people. The Nine-Tails rebellion that would soon occur, Kushina, who banged her head every day and yelled stupid Musashi, would die. He felt a profound sense of powerlessness. Instinctively, you begin to resist deepening the bond with the other person, which is why you feel depressed. Hey! You idiot Musashi! Why do I feel like you've been distracted these past 2 days? He tries. Absolutely not, Suzumiya Musashi argued instinctively. Just when she thought she could no longer dodge the iron fist of love, Uzumaki Kushina snorted and loosened her grip. Musashi, I want to tell you something. What is it? Sister Kushina, let me be your teacher. Suzumiya Musashi, huh? Namake's Minato, who had just entered. What? Oh, what? What a mess. Uzumaki Kushina was instantly furious. What's wrong with being a teacher? It's a piece of cake for the strongest ninja in Konoha to teach a disciple, Namikaze Minato hastened to explain. Kushina, that's not what I meant. Isn't it a bit too soon to accept a disciple? Musashi hasn't graduated yet, and it's not convenient for you to go out. Since I can't go out in peace, I have to accept a disciple to relieve my boredom, to teach her, but, no buts. Uzumaki Kushina's eyes widened, and seeing Namikaze Minato's helpless expression, she turned proudly to the astonished Suzumiya Musashi standing beside her. Then she placed a scroll in front of him and said indifferently, "Hey, sensei, although I'm strong, I'm not very good at ninjutsu. This is a gift for becoming your disciple. Take it." Minato, beside her, couldn't help but exclaim upon seeing the scroll, "Kushina, this is too much." Uzumaki Kushina, Namikaze Minato, eh? Awesome. Suzumiya Musashi glanced at the barely visible word sealing technique on the scroll and momentarily forgot to extend her hand. I feel this gift is of great importance. Chapter 18, The Nine-Tails Rebellion, Naruto is born. Suzumiya Musashi never imagined that the sealing technique he had always dreamed of would be so easily attainable. But he couldn't be content. In the following days, he began practicing yin-yang release in depth with Kushina. Refining the chakra of Yin-dun and Yang-dun was only the basics. There was still a long way to go if he wanted to use it with flexibility. And Suzumiya Musashi also began casually mentioning it to Namikaze Minato from time to time, like, "You must mark the Flying Thunder God at home and nearby. If you don't appear alongside Sister Kushina the first time, you're doomed." He knew it wouldn't work, but deep down he still hoped the outcome would change. Obito, who had caused the Nine-Tails Rebellion, was too strong. The divine power space was freely accessible, and he couldn't think of any solution. You can't say, "Your foolish apprentice is coming to kill you," and the Nine-Tails Rebellion, what's happening? Is there an earthquake? Did Kumagakure attack Konoha? Where are the Konoha guards? People, seized by panic, ran out of the house. Some died instantly under the collapsing buildings and the enormous pressure before they even understood what was happening. The survivors raised their heads and stared at the enormous figure that almost covered the sky, trembling with fear. What kind of monster is this? Nine-Tails. It's the nine-tailed demon fox. Run, help. Someone save me. Under the cover of night, a giant nine-tailed fox was on the rampage. The moonlight fell upon it, casting a massive shadow on the ground. Each time it slashed its claws and each time it flicked its tail, the powerful impact could crack the earth and send rocks flying. Those close by could only see its sharp claws or a tail, but those far away could see the monster's full form. Then, its liver and gallbladder ruptured. Many people died from flying wood and stones while their bodies were still stiff. Quick! Gather! Get the children out of the village first. Masked ninjas scoured the village and took the children as soon as they found them. Those with parents nearby could follow, but no one would pay attention to those who couldn't. Life and death mattered. Panic. There was only one enemy, but the damage it caused was comparable to that of an army. A great number of civilians died, and the ninjas didn't have time to rescue them. There weren't enough people to rescue the children, let alone look after the adults. When the nine-tailed fox was wreaking havoc, Suzumiya Musashi woke up immediately. He had been on edge these past few nights. The moment the disturbance began, he jumped out of bed, fully clothed. He leaped onto the roof and stared at the enormous orange figure in the distance. Is this the nine-tailed fox? A silhouette looming in the sky came into view. Suzumiya Musashi realized with a pang that he was afraid. The racing heartbeat and rush of blood seemed to tell him to run. It was the instinctive fear before a powerful force. Can human power truly overcome such a force? Everything shattered as claws flew, and the earth groaned with roars and dances. The whistling wind and the scent of blood instantly calmed Suzumiya Musashi. The screams and blood made him feel as if he had returned to the time when he first arrived in the ninja world and escaped. His gaze instantly hardened, and after assessing the nine-tailed fox's approximate range, he suddenly ran toward the nearby house. Boom! The wooden door couldn't withstand the force of the impact and shattered, accompanied by a female scream. "Ah, Sister Chorus, it's me." The noise startled her. "Put on your coat." Of course, Suzumiya Musashi wasn't in the mood to appreciate the spring scenery, and her body, which was just beginning to develop, wasn't exactly a sight to behold. Ayame looked confused and frightened, so naturally, she didn't. She heard what Suzumiya Musashi said. She woke with a start and looked at Suzumiya Musashi, who had rushed into the room and stood there, unsure what to do. "It's too late," The nearby buildings appeared to have been damaged. Suzumiya Musashi didn't care much. He stepped forward and wrapped a chorus in a thick blanket. Picking him up, he hoisted him onto his back and ran off. When he encountered a man who rushed over in a panic to check on him, he made hand seals. Shadow clone technique, bang! Takuya jumped onto his back and ran in the opposite direction, where the Nine-Tails was wreaking havoc. Musashi, what is that? With her back to him, Ayame finally spotted the enormous figure against the night sky. Terrified, she pressed her already curled up body against Suzumiya Musashi's back. I don't know. The village ninja are already organizing a response. Let's move away for now. The figure moved swiftly across the rooftops. Some saw it and thought it was a rescue ninja, so they shouted for help. Suzumiya Musashi seemed not to hear. A shrill roar shook the sky and earth. Looking back, he saw a long black pole propelling the nine-tailed fox. The third generation has entered the fray. Dark chucks gathered in the sky, and the Vaganis made everyone tremble with fear. They were ready to face death. This was something they could not withstand. The tailed beast ball exploded, and just as the ninja expected to die, a figure appeared before them. An invisible barrier blocked their advance. Lord Hokage, it's Hokage-sama, we're safe. As the crowd regrouped, the ninja began to maintain order and organized the evacuation of more and more people. The nine-tailed fox has been blocked by the barrier. Everyone is except. To give her a reason to stay. He didn't have to think about Uzumaki Kushina's death, or the enormous pressure the Nine-Tails placed on him. Stay here, there's no point in going there. His hands clenched tighter and tighter, his knuckles turning blue and white, and the veins on his forehead bulging without him even noticing. Go, he muttered. Grass. With a sudden curse, Suzumiya Musashi handed Ayame to his shadow clone, turned, and ran off. He heard a chorus's worried voice behind him, but didn't turn around. He increased his speed to the maximum and ran toward the barrier. Damn it. I have to go even if it's useless, he cursed. The fishy wind caressed my cheek. He encountered the ninja school teachers gathering students and children, the villagers still running in terror, and with Uchiha Itachi, who was protecting Uchiha Izumi and the baby. He walked without hesitation, staring intently at the barrier. In there, Uzumaki Kushina might be on her deathbed, and Naimake's Minato was ready to die. Suppressed by the diamond seal from afar. There were Angu ninja nearby, including Sarutobi Hirozen. He stopped. It's pointless to come, but I have to come anyway. Even if I could only catch one last glimpse of Kushina from a distance, even if it wasn't very clear, it would be the last. Even if it was only to stand before the Kyuubi. Remind yourself that if you want to obtain power that can match yours, are you ready? Suzumiya Musashi's eyes widened, and blood trickled slightly from his clenched fists. Remember this fear. Remember that this cannot change reality. Suzumiya Musashi. Within the boundary. As Minato Namake's sealed half of the Nine-Tails chakra within his own, the furious Nine-Tailed Fox seized the opportunity and attacked the baby in the crib with a claw. The pain for both of them quickly dissipated. Namake's Minato pressed himself against Uzumaki Kushina's back, his voice as gentle as ever when he was on the verge of death. It's time to say goodbye, Kushina. If there's anything else you want to say to Naruto, say it now, we can't hold on any longer. Uzumaki Kushina's face reflected fatigue and reluctance. Looking at the newborn Naruto, he was the son she had just met, but whom she was about to say goodbye to forever. Naruto, you can't be picky about food. You have to eat enough every day so you can grow up healthy. Remember to take a warm bath every day and don't stay up late. You have to learn to make friends. It doesn't matter if you don't have many. A few you trust are enough, even though mom isn't very good at it. You must master ninjutsu. If your training isn't going well, don't be discouraged. You must respect your elders. There's one more thing. There are 3 taboos for ninjas. You must pay attention to them. You must save your mission reward and not waste it. Remember that you can only drink alcohol from the age of 20. Also, regarding women, mom doesn't understand much either. Be careful not to be led astray by bad women. Find a good woman like mom. You will suffer a lot in the future. Don't be afraid. If you are bullied, remember to go and find brother Musashi. Mom knows he is very strong. Although he always hits him on the head, he doesn't get angry. In fact, it's because his clothes are too ugly, and he'll feel better if he gets hit a few times. Have a dream, make it come true, and have faith in yourself. Tears flowed from Kushina Uzumaki's eyes, her voice gradually becoming inaudible, filled with reluctance. Also, I love you, and I have so many things to tell you. I want to spend more time with you, but I don't have time to tell you. Accompanied by violent energy fluctuations, under Minato Namikaze's direction, the 8 trigram seal completely sealed the 9 tails. The chaos subsided. As the barrier vanished, Sarutobi Hiruzen immediately appeared. On the ground, Minato Namikaze was breathless. Uzumaki Kushina could barely hold her breath thanks to the powerful vitality of the Uzumaki clan. Seeing Sarutobi Hiruzen, who appeared before her, she used up her last bit of strength and pleaded, "Sandaime-sama, this child, his name is Naruto. Minato and I named him. From now on, I will ask you to take care of him." Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded solemnly. "I see, leave him to me, rest assured." Uzumaki Kushina heard this, and her last breath gradually faded away. The ground was covered in blood and devastation. Chapter 19, Danzo is sweating. The Nine Tails Rebellion caused a huge number of casualties and economic losses in Konoha. Buildings were destroyed, there were deaths, and much work remained to be done. But before that, there was something more important: total casualties, amount of property lost. The above corresponds to the losses caused by the Nine Tails incident. Detailed data is still being compiled. In the office were Sarutobi Hiruzen, Danzo, and other high-ranking officials, as well as the heads of various ninja clans. After deciding on the consequences and compensation, everyone began to talk about the Hokage. Minato had sacrificed himself, and the village could not do without a Hokage. Now it was urgent to choose a new Hokage. Kaoru was the first to mention it. It will take time to recover from the disaster. The clans exchanged glances, and finally, Nara Shikaku, of the Nara clan, voiced his opinion. The 4th Hokage is dead, so it would be best to pass the Hokage position to the ninja who succeeds Minato. Second, Kaoru and Midakato frowned. Kaoru said, "Minato is very young. The ninja who succeed him are too young and lack the experience to lead all of Konoha." As a high-ranking member of the family, she naturally understood each family's ideas. The younger the person in charge, the more they need the support of the ninja clan. The ninja clan will be strengthened to a certain extent. However, this didn't align with the ideas of the upper leadership. Konoha, which had just suffered great chaos, didn't need a young helmsman. Does anyone else have any ideas? Kaoru looked at the other ninja representatives. They all exchanged glances, but remained silent for a while. When your leader asks for your opinion but doesn't accept it, you should know that he has his own opinions. In the field, the heart of a well-known dark ninja raced. Danzo controlled his expression, flexed his hips and thighs, and was about to stand. However, his old rival, a man of fate, had already sensed someone's thoughts. Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly stood up and said, "Everyone, at a time like this, only an old man like myself can assume the responsibilities of Hokage once more. If you all continue to approve, then I can temporarily resume the position of Hokage." Before the representatives of the various ninja clans could voice their opinions, Danzo could no longer bear it. He said with a hint of anger, "Hiruzen, you have been Hokage for quite a few years now. Your accomplishments are evident to all. You, who once resigned from the position of Hokage, are you truly capable of holding it?" Yondaime, Midamanen frowned. "Danzo, you're going too far." A flicker of dissatisfaction crossed Kaoru's eyes. "Enough, Danzo. Hiruzen couldn't rescue the Yondaime due to special circumstances. Besides, where were you yesterday? The one who accused Hiruzen, where are your roots?" Danzo gritted his teeth. He couldn't answer. It was too difficult. The ninja clan representatives were eating melons, and the atmosphere grew tense for a moment. Sarutobi Hiruzen broke the silence with a laugh. "Ha ha ha, well, everyone, this old man like myself is going through a brief transition. After this time, the Hokage position will have to be handed over to a more suitable person." The High Command didn't object. Danzo was too busy to take care of himself. The ninja representatives couldn't think of a better candidate and finally accepted the proposal. However, Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't specify how long this period would last. Not even Danzo, who was the one who the more concerned he was about the matter, the more he asked. Because he had his own plans. A few days later, in the Hokage's office, Sarutobi Hiruzen was out, so no one could stop Danzo from entering. After closing the door, he walked slowly to his desk and sat in the chair that represented the Hokage. "Prosperous hidden village in the ninja world, Konoha. This will be your kingdom." Recently, he encountered the ninja Hatake Kakashi, who was with Sarutobi Hiruzen. The young man is simply naive, just like his naive father, who only possesses great strength. He said a few words like Sarutobi Hirozen caused Rin's tragedy, and Sarutobi Hirozen prevented you from joining the battle against the Nine Tails and rescuing the fourth Hokage, successfully instigating the rebellion. Now, Sarutobi Hirozen is on his way to meet with a daimyo. Judging by the time, perhaps Sarutobi Hirozen is already dead. Looking at the increasingly bright sunlight through the window, he, who had been hidden in the darkness, felt a strange surge of emotion. Hirozen, you've been Hokage for far too long. The past has proven you're unfit for this position. Seek light in the darkness and find the future by killing. I am a qualified Hokage. Just wait and see, Hirozen. Under my command, Konoha will become the strongest in the ninja world. His heart pounded in his chest. Danzo closed his eyes, trying to suppress the emotion. He seemed to hear it. He heard the people of Konoha. They were cheering him on. He heard that his fame was spreading throughout the ninja world. It can't be given to others for now. The faint sound was like thunder that burst in his ears. The air was stagnant, and his heart and breathing suddenly stopped. The chair slowly swiveled, and a familiar face appeared. The old friend he thought was dead looked at him mischievously. Although the other's face was very serious, he could still clearly perceive the mockery in his eyes. I felt like I was masturbating in the bedroom and my mortal enemy had caught me. Sarutobi Hirozen said, you seem surprised I'm still alive. Danzo wanted to say no. But I couldn't open my mouth. Cold sweat trickled down his cheeks. After a moment of silence, Sarutobi Hirozen spoke again, if you like this chair, sit down for a while. Then he headed for the office door. His single, uncovered eye was filled with shame and anger. Hirozen, damn it, with Danzo's blessing, Sarutobi Hirozen assumed the position without incident. Although there wasn't a grand ceremony, the news spread quickly throughout the village of Konoha. The top leaders of the ninja clan remained silent about it. At the dumpling shop, youngsters like Kai, Zairihong, Gangzidi, and others were talking about it. What? I thought we'd have a new Hokage, a bet on who'd win, but now we've all lost. Hey, you're all taking this way too lightly. Gangzidi's opinion differed from the others. After all, he's our Hokage, so we should show him respect. Besides, it must be very difficult for the third Hokage to take on the role of Hokage again at such an advanced age. Others disagreed. Regarding the third Hokage, the opinions of the major ninja clans and civilian ninja outside the clan weren't entirely in agreement. Seeing that the atmosphere wasn't right, Zairihong tried to smooth things over. Well, after all, it's the Hokage who has taken power. Come on, let's celebrate with dumplings. Hong, you celebrated with dumplings when the fourth Hokage took power. That's why the third generation continues to use dumplings to celebrate their rise to power. To continue the tradition, he didn't think there was anything wrong with it and held up the meatball he was holding. Use meatballs. Cheers, cheers. Chapter 24 years later. 1998. 1999. 2000. 1, 2, 782, 893. Musashi, stop. In the Konoha training grounds, Might Guy shouted at Suzumiya Musashi with a serious face, telling him to stop his training. 901. Musashi. Stop. You can't train like this anymore. Suzumiya Musashi finally raised his head, looked at Might Guy with a serious expression, and smiled as always. Brother Kai, don't stop me. My youth is the best time to train, how can I stop? Musashi, the intensity of your training has increased too much lately. This is harmful to your body, said Might Guy. Don't worry, Brother Kai, I know my body well. I won't hurt myself. Suzumiya Musashi smiled and said, the training of youth is about surpassing your own limits. If my body can't handle it, I'll stop immediately. Rejuvenation doesn't harm the body. Might Guy was still a little worried. He'd only been watching for a while, but he already felt that the intensity of Suzumiya Musashi's training was far too much for someone his age. The weight he was originally carrying wasn't that terrible. You and Kakashi seem to be acting crazy lately. Especially Kakashi. I went to say hello to him yesterday, and that guy almost killed me. I hardly ever see him lately. Musashi, you can't rush training. You need to know that. Of course I know, Brother Kai, you should go see Kakashi-senpai. Don't worry about me. Anaji is keeping an eye on me. If I get hurt and he takes me to the infirmary, I swear I'll yell Suzumiya Musashi, you idiot, 100 times at the Konoha gate. Only then did Might Guy hesitate and stop trying to persuade him. After my guy left, Suzumiya Musashi continued his training. The smile in his eyes gradually faded, replaced by determination and stubbornness. 968, 969, Brother Kai, of course I know that cultivation can't be rushed, practice isn't achieved overnight, it's not like if I want to save someone, I can gain power, it's not like if I want to live, I can escape, everything must be done step by step, that's why I can't waste any more time or slack off even a little. After the Nine Tails Rebellion, the third generation of Sarutobi, Hiruzen, returned to power. He spoke in front of the third generation and the upper management, so he didn't even have to open his mouth. He's too weak. Even if they handed Naruto over to him now, he couldn't guarantee his safety 100%. After the funeral, there would be no more social interactions and wasted energy. Dedicate all your time and energy to practice. 4 years later. Isn't that the nine-tailed imp, Demon Fox? It is him, isn't it? Hey, brat. Stay away from me. Don't you want to live? Go play with others. Don't walk with him. Remember, no, go away. In the streets of Konoha, the small figure faced the malicious stares around him. Uzumaki Naruto walked with a dejected expression. A ball of paper flew from behind the crowd and hit him on the head. Do you hate me that much? He wanted to question aloud to the group of people in front of him, but seeing their hateful stares, his eyes began to redden, so he lowered his head to hold back his tears and left. I cried at night, so I can't cry anymore during the day. As we walked, we moved farther and farther away from the center of the village and slowly reached the edge of a forest. 967. 968, 960. Hearing a familiar voice, Uzumaki Naruto quickened his pace and spotted a figure in the shadows of the trees. He's still there, no doubt. Uzumaki Naruto's dejected expression vanished, and he too found a shady spot under a tree. He sat down on the ground, rested his face in his hands, and watched with great interest. He hadn't been able to stand being stuck in the village for a long time, so he went out to hunt rabbits. He arrived and saw the odd creature in front of him. Wearing green tights and with short, shiny hair, he recounted while exercising. As soon as I arrived, the other person spotted me immediately. I thought he would greet me with another disapproving look or a cold get out, however, that wasn't the case. There was a man in the village who didn't hold a grudge against him, he was simply amused, watching the oddball repeating strange movements, and didn't realize the other person was glancing at him from time to time, which was extremely difficult. From then on, Uzumaki Naruto came several more times. He was surprised to find this oddball there every day. So he had one more place to go in the village. Whenever I feel unhappy or wronged, I come here and stay for a while. Repeating the same movements like a machine makes you feel much better. Sad things fade away. And he discovered something interesting. When the oddball practiced, blue arcs of electricity sometimes appeared on his body. 3 circles on his arms and 3 circles on his legs. Body, sometimes more on the upper part and sometimes more on the lower. When he got bored, he counted the arcs. 1 circle, 2 circles, 3 circles, 4 circles, 5 circles. Wow, I have so many blue circles on my legs today. He continued watching until it was almost dark, but he wasn't bored. It wasn't until the weirdo packed up and left on time that he headed home. Ichiriko Ramen Shop. I'm back. After washing and changing, Suzumiya Musashi arrived at Ichiriko Ramen, put on his usual work clothes, and started working. As the evening's guests left, Ayame gathered her things and approached Suzumiya Musashi. Musashi, how are your classes going lately? Of course, no problem, you seem very confident, it's just a ninja school, the knowledge is very simple. Musashi, if the training is too hard, you don't have to come in the evening. I've heard it's not easy to graduate from a ninja school. You should use the time to train now so you'll get better grades when you graduate. Don't worry, sister, it won't affect your practice. Besides, if I don't come spend time with my sister every night, I won't have the energy to practice. Stinky kid. In fact, if he hadn't wanted to keep a low profile, he could have graduated a long time ago. For example, Uchiha graduated after a short period of study because his shadow clone was discovered. He entered the ninja career early. Musashi, are you free tomorrow? We need to clean the storage room at home. My father doesn't have time, and I'm too slow to do it alone, a chorus asked. Oh? Tomorrow's not possible, Suzumiya Musashi said. Tomorrow, Brother Kai and I have an appointment with Kakashi-senpai. It's very important. So I'll come back tonight and attend to it. I can invite Oki to join us. I won't be long. Well, then, a chorus pouted and couldn't help but say, whenever I have time, I hang out with those two. They even said I was their favorite. Of course. Boys lie. Suzumiya Musashi, powerless, looked at Ayame, who rarely showed emotion, and turned to hug her. No, if I have to say who I like, of course it's my sister. Musashi likes my sister more. It's because of the training with Brother Kai. After all, I have to train well so I can protect you, my sister. Since the Nine Tails Rebellion 4 years ago, when Suzumiya Musashi captured Haruhi and protected Ayame to the very end, Ayame's attitude toward him began to change. At first, I was embarrassed to look at him, but it took me a few days to feel better. Over time, I grew closer to him than before. I almost considered myself a married girl, the reader's gains and losses. For example, the protagonist had just started school recently, and Naruto, a baby, was supposed to be in the care of the principal. But the protagonist didn't take care of him, so he gave him a bad review and left. Oh, the plot will unfold in the most reasonable way possible if you skip 2 pages. The author posted 8 words at the beginning of the book, and the chapter titles after the catalog describe the changes in the relationship between Naruto and the protagonist. You can tell just by glancing at it out of curiosity. Even so, it got a bad 2-star review. Tomato seems to say that a bad 1-star review doesn't affect the rating of the work, but a 2-star one does. They know the rules very well. It hurts. Then they told everyone how poisonous the book is and that it's better to leave. There are few similar reviews. I'd also like to thank the comics design team for their enthusiastic guidance with the details and the readers for their tolerance and encouragement. The author will keep working hard. I'm so tired that I look to the cute Uchiha for comfort. Sasuke's here. Chapter 21 Kakashi's Ninja Moderator. The next day. Konoha Training Grounds. Kakashi Hokage had been harassed by Might Guy for a long time, and today he came as promised. From a distance, I saw 2 identical figures. Green tights, red headbands, one said burning and the other young. They were warming up, making some noises. Hey, Kakashi, you're a little slow today. When Might Guy saw Kakashi, his eyes flashed and his teeth gleamed. But seeing the dark, murderous aura surrounding him, I still felt a great deal of regret. It seems that life in the Anbu is depressing Kakashi more and more. Damn it. The 3rd Hokage wouldn't let me join the Anbu. If I could stay with Kakashi, maybe it wouldn't be like this. Senior Kakashi. Warm up quickly, I can't wait. A glint flashed in Suzumiya Musashi's eyes, and he quickly performed high kick drills on the spot. Looking at the 2 people before him, Hokage Kakashi's face was grim. After experiencing the 2 tragedies of losing his father due to mission failure and losing his best friend due to mission success, his life had been shrouded in darkness. Kai, a man initially thought to have no ninja talent, had gradually become a beacon of light illuminating his life. After the 4th Hokage's death, the darkness deepened. Deep down, this light became increasingly important to him. He wished things could continue this way. Until Suzumiya Musashi appeared. The single ray of light in his life became 2 rays of light. It was still a dazzling green light. From then on, the darkness vanished, and with 2 powerful beams of light, he had no time to rest. Kai, why don't you and Musashi have a sparring match? His speed is very similar to yours now. Hokage Kakashi was in no mood to participate in such an activity. Kakashi, a young man shouldn't say such decadent words. Yes. Kakashi-senpai. You can summon Parker as the referee. Hokage Kakashi put his hand to his forehead in frustration. Of course, in the end, he couldn't defeat them. At Kai's request, he also used psychic magic to summon Parker as the referee for the 3 of them. Yoshi. Ready? Ready, go. 3 bursts of dust dispersed. 4 years ago, Might Guy discovered that the intensity of Suzumiya Musashi's training had increased significantly. He was concerned that the Nine Tails Rebellion had spurred him on, and he planned to help him in the same way he had helped Hokage Kakashi. So, whenever he occasionally encountered Hokage Kakashi, he would summon him and take him along to do things that could strengthen their bond. It was later discovered that the intensity of Suzumiya Musashi's training hadn't decreased and that he hadn't suffered any accidents. The relationship between the 3 of them is more harmonious. Might Guy always wants to have a happy youth match with Hokage Kakashi. Hokage Kakashi, I'm not happy. Might Guy and Kakashi Hokage have both won and lost, and Suzumiya Musashi is among the top 3. And the gap is closing rapidly. The three of them breezed through the test, and Parker calmly announced the results. "I'm going to have to wait," Might Guy said excitedly. "Don't tell me next time," Kakashi gasped. Parker looked at Suzumiya Musashi and said, "Musashi, that's great. Now the gap between you and them is getting smaller and smaller, and maybe you'll soon surpass Kakashi. You can touch my paw pad to cheer you up, will you?" Saying that, he lifted his right paw, revealing the pink pad. "Really? I won't be polite, Parker." Suzumiya Musashi stepped forward and touched Parker's paw pads. "It's very soft, thank you for cheering me up." Parker felt proud to receive the recognition. He then pulled a scroll from his body and said, "The elders of my clan have discussed what Kakashi told me some time ago and have decided to accept your proposal." He then unfolded the scroll. 100,000 ryo a year. "We, the Ninja Dog Clan, can sign a short-term contract with you and provide you with some basic services. You can cancel the contract at any time, but you won't participate in the battle. If it's all right with you, just put your fingerprints." Suzumiya Musashi nodded and placed his handprint on the contract scroll. Most of his time at the Ninja Academy has passed, and graduation is near. After becoming a Jonin, he will have to participate in missions organized by the village. By then, his time won't be as free as it is now, and he might have to leave the village to carry out missions. Therefore, he spoke with Hokage Kakashi some time ago and signed a contract with a Ninja Dog Clan, with whom he had contracted. This way, when he goes out, he can leave the ninja dog at home. If he encounters danger at home, he can use the reverse summoning technique to return quickly. In case of danger, he can flee quickly depending on the situation. Unlike the summoning technique with ninja tools that teleports objects, the Tensou technique, which requires a lot of strength for objects, and the Flying Thunder God technique, which is extremely difficult to learn. Due to the power of the contract, the technique of summoning ninja beasts can protect the ninja from any harm during spatial teleportation. It's essential for traveling home. Originally, he could have signed a summoning contract directly with the Ninja Dog Clan. But he wasn't yet clear on whether the contract between the three sacred sites was unique. So he discussed it with Kakashi and the Ninja Dog Clan and decided to sign a short-term contract by regularly providing the Ninja Dog Clan with funds to buy high-quality dog food. This way, if the possibility of signing a spiritual contract with the three sacred sites arose in the future, they wouldn't miss the opportunity. After completing the contract, Hokage Kakashi displayed an unusual look of anticipation. "So, Musashi, where's the gift you promised me?" "I'm ready, Kakashi-senpai." Suzumiya Musashi pulled a new book from his arms. Hokage Kakashi was eager to take it. "Kakashi, what gift did Musashi promise you?" Might Guy leaned in curiously. Snap! Kakashi slammed the book shut, and the aura of the grim, murderous look on his body faded slightly. "Kai, this is the latest issue of Ninja Moderator Gold Edition. It's not what you're interested in." Swoosh! "Kakashi, what's the point of this? You'd be better off practicing instead of reading. Only thorough practice can be worthy of beautiful youth. Of course, someone like you wouldn't understand," Kakashi said, gently stroking the book's cover. A few years ago, a writer called Midnight Knife published a one-volume picture book titled Little Stories After the Rain. At first, readers simply thought there was a stylish artist in the publishing industry. But they didn't expect the storm to be quietly brewing. Sometime later, Ninja Moderator appeared out of nowhere, and the stories The Kind Jonin Teacher Mukana, The Lost Female Spy in Kumagakure, and The Widow of Rangakure, published one after the other, unleashed a storm in the publishing industry. In the following years, The White Turbid Hell of Flower Shadows and The Lady of the Princes, while forced to do nothing, continued the magnificent level of Midnight Knife. The updates are stable and every piece is high quality. To date, the Ninja Moderator of Midnight Knife has divided the world with Intimate Paradise and is on equal footing. Fans of the book gave this assessment: the cold knife pierces the body, the pain is unbearable, the withered flowers scatter, and the night is sleepless. Someone like you, Kai, would never understand a masterpiece like this. By the way, Musashi, thank Oki for me, I like him a lot. Might Guy. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 22: Naruto's New Boss. Uzumaki Naruto occasionally came to the forest where Suzumiya Musashi trained to pass the time. When he arrived, Suzumiya Musashi remained silent. He hadn't come, and Suzumiya Musashi wondered why he hadn't come today. Do you want to talk to him? What do you say? Uzumaki Naruto should have some Enbu members protecting him from a distance. Even people from Root weren't impossible to reach. And Denzo? As he walked home, he thought about all sorts of things. His footsteps suddenly stopped. Brat? I told you not to let me see you. Boom. Boom. Fox demon. Damn fox demon, I told you not to come back here last time, but you thought my words were just wind in your ears. They started fighting amongst themselves. The blonde boy was immobilized on the ground and was being punched by several people. So, in the ninja world, fighting is the truth. Where does so much friendship and justice come from? Endless fighting and killing among ninjas. Hostility and bullying among children. This is the world in which many people live. Suzumiya Musashi approached step by step. Some small ghosts saw him, but they didn't care. The adults of the village wouldn't mind if he faced a fox demon. Suzumiya Musashi looked at Uzumaki Naruto, who also saw him. He didn't ask for help or anything. There was no fear or anger in those large eyes. Only sadness and confusion. Why did you hit me? I want to be friends with you too. A figure seemed to pass before his eyes, shaking his fists and shouting his name. Suzumiya Musashi's heart suddenly sank. He approached and spoke impatiently, "Hey! You little demons, stop!" The small ghost stopped and looked at each other. The leader seemed unconvinced. "Are you from the Ninja Academy?" "My brother Taku called Kamano is also a senior and the top student at the Ninja Academy. A lesson for the fox," he said, shaking his fist again. Suzumiya Musashi couldn't be bothered to talk to those brats. He slowly raised his right foot and slammed it down. "Boom," he said more politely. "Cut." Suzumiya Musashi prepared to leave. Uzumaki Naruto jumped up and hurriedly followed him. "I hate those brats most of all." It sounded as if you were talking to Uzumaki Naruto, but also as if you were talking to himself. He took a step forward, followed closely by Uzumaki Naruto. "Hey!" Suzumiya Musashi turned around. "Don't follow me." Uzumaki Naruto didn't say anything. As soon as he left, he continued following him. Suzumiya Musashi stopped. "Go away, you little devil, weirdo, you're amazing." Uzumaki Naruto's eyes sparkled. "That was awesome," Suzumiya Musashi said. I'm not a freak. I'll say it again. Go away. I want to go home." "Don't call yourself a freak. What should I call you?" "Suzumiya Musashi." "You can call me Musashi. I'm leaving now." "Don't follow me. I'll punish you." "Why are you still following me?" "No, I didn't." Uzumaki Naruto looked offended. "This is my way home, not for following you." "Suzumiya Musashi." "Chief Musashi, may I treat you to some ramen?" "Ichiriko ramen in town is amazing." "Don't call me that." Uzumaki Naruto was disappointed. "Oh, but then," his expression lit up. "It doesn't matter, you'll recognize me someday." "Chief, me." "But Uzumaki Naruto." Suzumiya Musashi glanced at Uzumaki Naruto and left without a word. In the room, Suzumiya Musashi's shadow clone sat cross-legged on the floor. In one hand, chakra swirled rapidly in a spherical shape, emitting a light blue aura. The other hand constantly shifted positions, simultaneously practicing the basic hand seals of the wind and lightning escape techniques. The Rasengan, developed by the fourth Hokage Minato Namikaze, was used quite frequently by Naruto in the later stages of the story, and it must be acknowledged that it is an excellent ninjutsu. Not only does it effectively improve chakra control, but it is also an A-rank ninjutsu with top-tier shape-shifting capabilities, and its power is impressive. Since he began training in ninjutsu, he naturally didn't miss any opportunity to practice this technique. One of the criticisms people leveled at Naruto in his later stages was the simplicity of his methods, from rolling a ball from beginning to end to the one Shadow Clone Rasengan and the two Shadow Rasen Shuriken. It seemed that if the technique were a little more complex, he could create multiple clones to execute it. This is a significant disadvantage in a fast-paced and dangerous battle. With no lineage restrictions, Suzumiya Musashi could only study combat techniques and methods that suited him. When not using the Eight Gates ninjutsu, he had to gradually master some effective ninjutsu. Multitasking was a preparatory exercise he undertook in advance to improve his future combat prowess. From making frequent mistakes at first to practicing well now, his ninjutsu training progressed steadily. Meanwhile, Suzumiya Musashi sat to one side with several thick stacks of notes scattered in front of him. Records of physical damage and combat power enhancement caused by opening the Kamen, Zilman, Shengman, and Uman in the 8 gates of ninjutsu. Record of the sealing technique for closing the 8 gates. 3 hypothetical solutions to the battering ram effect caused by the rapid closure of chakra meridians throughout the body. A brief analysis of the effects of lightning chakra on physical activation at different frequencies and states. Inference of the correlation equation on the positive effect of Yang-Tun chakra on physical training. The microscopic world of wind escape. The influence of the vortex effect. Boundary layer theory. High-speed boundary layer theory in wind escape. And verification of the unbalanced flow theory. Analysis of the reader profile of NTR plots in the ninja world. Setting aside the inexplicable notes, Suzumiya Musashi began to supplement his research notes based on his recent ninjutsu training. The scientific research experience from his previous life allowed him to enhance his skills in an alternative way. It's not enough, Suzumiya Musashi told himself. He hadn't wasted those 4 years. But these alone weren't enough to deal with Danzo and the others. The streets were still familiar, and the sounds of fighting were familiar. Damn you, Fox Demon. Let's see if you can still act so arrogant. Where's that weird guy in green? Why isn't he coming to help you? Brother Kamano is here. Let's see if he dares to act arrogant when he comes. Don't you dare talk about my boss like that, Naruto said angrily. Boss. Don't think I don't know who would be the boss of a monster like you. That's right. Maybe I hate you too, but I haven't said it out loud. You're talking nonsense. The boss is very powerful. The boss won't hate me. Great. People, some noticed and seemed a little scared for a moment, but then they reacted and quickly ran behind a tall figure. Chief Kamano, it's him. He's the one who scared us last time. Yes, that green suit. I remember it even in my dreams. Suzumiya Musashi looked at Naruto. He looked more disheveled than last time, with footprints all over his clothes and some red, swollen bruises on his face. Sarutobi Hiruzen. Just as he thought that, a familiar voice sounded. Suzumiya Musashi, I was wondering who it was. Turns out to be you. What the hell? Why are you hanging around with this brat and scaring my brothers? He had become his younger brother. After Uchiha graduated early, he went back to acting arrogantly toward his classmates. Takugal Kamano, right. Suzumiya Musashi looked the other man in the face calmly. These brats who beat people up are your people. Noticing Suzumiya Musashi's hostile tone, Takugal Kamano's face also turned. I'm speaking to you politely because we're classmates. Last place. A student should behave like a last place student. Understood? Suzumiya Musashi's voice turned colder. I want to ask, are these little devils who beat people up your people, bastard? Takugal Kamano said arrogantly. That's right, they're all my people. What are you going to do? Fight. Do you want to end up like this brat? Several other children also became arrogant. Are you scared? Apologize now if you know what's best for you. That's right, or Brother Kamano will punish you. Bang. The ground shook, and Suzumiya Musashi was sent flying. In an instant, he traveled a distance of more than 10 meters and appeared next to Takugal Kamano. The sharp kune was pressed against his neck, and the cold touch made his hair stand on end. The emotionless words echoed in his ears. They made him feel like he was falling into an icy cave. I'll give you 5 seconds to think this over. In a second, Takugal Kamano's brain buzzed and his pupils suddenly shrank. 2 seconds, 3 seconds, his emotions were on edge. The next instant, he took a few steps back and raised his palm toward the little demon he had just so fiercely struck. Damn it, don't learn your lesson. Damn it, don't intimidate others. Applause. 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 Have I ever told you that when you're out and about, you should respect your elders, love your youth, and help one another? Damn it, have you forgotten the will of fire I told you to recite? Takugal Kamano hit them so hard they cried for their parents. They glanced up surreptitiously and found Suzumiya Musashi still expressionless. He gritted his teeth and increased the force of his hands. Ba, bang, bang. Soon, the faces of several small children resembled Naruto's. Amidst the crying, Suzumiya Musashi walked home. Suddenly, his large eyes rolled back, ready to be scolded. Looking at Naruto, who was feigning calmness, an idea occurred to Suzumiya Musashi. If I scold him, he'll cry for a good while when he gets home, right? He slowly extended his right hand. Naruto's eyes were confused at first, but then they gradually brightened. He extended his small hand with cautiously. She held a large one. Ah, it hurts. At home, Suzumiya Musashi carefully tended to the wound on Uzumaki Naruto's face. If it were me, he'd be lying down. Suzumiya Musashi handed the medicine she held to Naruto so he could apply it himself. Take your time and call me when you're finished. In the living room, Naruto carefully tended to his wounds, hissing occasionally. In the bedroom, Suzumiya Musashi stared at a scroll in front of him. The art of sealing, seal and Vajra seal were casually thrown at him by the redhead on an ordinary afternoon. You've been practicing for so long and you still haven't mastered it, idiot. I told you not to interrupt me when I'm talking. You have chakra mobilized in your large intestine? Moron, how dare you answer back? Bang! Bang! She'd roll up her sleeves without warning and punch me in the head. The very next instant, I didn't wait that long. She needs time, and she needs to wait. However, if that woman knew she left Naruto alone like that, she'd be so angry her red hair would fly, she'd shake her fists, and she'd curse Musashi's bastard several times. She can't wait any longer. After carefully putting the scroll away, Suzumiya Musashi left the bedroom. Let's go. Go out? Where are we going, boss? Since you're calling me boss, I owe you a bowl of Ichiraku Supreme Deluxe Ramen. Let's go. Wow, boss is the best. Chapter 23, Root Attacks, First Encounter with Danzo. Today is the happiest day for Uzumaki Naruto. From now on, he is no longer alone. He now has a powerful boss who takes him out to eat his favorite Ichiraku Ramen. Moreover, the boss is a member of the Ichiraku Ramen kitchen staff. Everything is beautiful, like a dream. So much so that when Suzumiya Musashi sent him home, he couldn't help but skip a beat as he walked. That night, Uzumaki Naruto lay in his small bed. He covered his face with a blanket and giggled occasionally. After a while, a soft sob was heard. Then there was another burst of laughter. Hey, it took him a long time to fall asleep. After sending Naruto home, Suzumiya Musashi walked slowly toward his house alone. As he walked, he tried to guess when his superiors would react and what attitude he should adopt. Breaking the silence might seem abrupt. Suzumiya Musashi's hair stood on end, and his body tensed. The next instant, a black hand extended from his side with tremendous force, nearly grabbing his neck. His muscles suddenly contracted, and the pent-up power within his body exploded. Oh, the speed of the punch was so rapid it far exceeded the attacker's expectations. Face shattered. Mask shattered, teeth broken. And tongue lines unexpectedly exposed. Rudy not sure of his strength, but it's probably no higher than a Chunin's. Suzumiya Musashi silently assessed the opponent's strength in his heart. The attacker took advantage of the situation and received a powerful blow to the face, temporarily losing the ability to react. I'll kill you while you're sick, Konoha tornado, bang! He kicked the attacker in the chest with tremendous force, breaking several bones and sending him flying backward more than one person. A strong wind blew from the other side. Suzumiya Musashi kicked another Konoha whirlwind, but the opponent immediately retreated. It was clear he had discovered that Suzumiya Musashi's strength exceeded his expectations and had no intention of fighting head-on. Earth escape technique, earth flow. The ground suddenly softened and turned into mud, and those approaching wanted to trap Suzumiya Musashi. However, Suzumiya Musashi reacted with extreme speed and stamped his foot as soon as he performed the ninjutsu. The powerful force made him bounce violently off the mud, which hadn't yet fully softened. The mighty Konoha whirlwind, Tudun, Tuli Ubi, boom, the wall of earth that had just risen was pierced by enormous force, and the eyes of the visitor behind the mask couldn't hide his surprise. What powerful physical ability! 2 consecutive ninjutsu had no effect. Before he could use other means, a swarm of shurikens whizzed toward him. He swiftly dodged them and deflected several with a kunai. The enormous vibration in his hands numbed his arms. The ninja couldn't help but feel surprised. He tried to resist quickly, and each impact caused him intense pain. Damn it! Is this kid a monster? Boom! A flying kick slammed into the ninja's chin, his alarm clock vibrated, and his body was sent flying through the air. Lion combo, boom! The heavy impact was followed by a close call with the ground. Up! Someone is committing a crime in Konoha. Help! A thought flashed through the ninja's mind before he lost consciousness. The superiors shouldn't have sent 2 Chunin here, the little demon has no morals. I was too careless. Suzumiya Musashi continued to scream for help. He was just an ordinary student at the Ninja Academy who hadn't even graduated yet. It was understandable that he panicked and tried to save his life when he was suddenly attacked. However, after only 2 shouts, 2 masked ninjas rushed at him from not far away. Just as he tensed up and prepared to fight, the other spoke. Suzumiya Musashi, the Hokage wants to see you. In the Hokage's office, Sarutobi Hirozen tapped the pipe in his hand and looked at Suzumiya Musashi, who had a confused expression. Musashi, I came to see you because I want to check something with you. Hokage-sama, what happened? Has the village been attacked by the enemy? I was walking home when 2 ninjas suddenly attacked me. Luckily, Sarutobi Hirozen stopped. Well, Musashi, I didn't mean trust that, it was just a misunderstanding. Uzumaki Naruto, how did you 2 meet? I want to know this. Suzumiya Musashi was puzzled. Naruto? That kid? You met him like that? Then he briefly recounted how Naruto met him while practicing taijutsu. Swoosh, so it's a coincidence, said Sarutobi Hirozen after exhaling a puff of smoke. Yes, Lord Hokage, what's the matter? Naruto is a lively fellow, quite interesting. I don't know who spread the rumor in the village that he's a demon fox, it's truly cruel. Ahem. Sandai choked on his smoke and then said, Musashi, this matter is rather complicated. It will take some time to discover the cause, but Musashi, for some reason, you shouldn't keep Naruto. There will be someone in the village to take care of him. Why? Suzumiya Musashi looked puzzled. Is something wrong? Why did the Hokage make such a strange request? Ahem. Well, the rumor that Naruto is a demon fox, the village must carefully consider how to deal with it. If you keep him, it will affect you. People don't have a good opinion of Naruto. When you graduate, your ranking could be affected. In that case, Hokage-sama, Suzumiya Musashi interrupted Sarutobi Hirozen loudly, we are all comrades in the village. How can we break our bonds just because of rumors? The ninja way will never allow you to abandon a comrade because of the criticism of others. Even if others talk about me or hate me, I will stand firm in my decision. I will use my own voice to shout it out. Everyone in Konoha is an indestructible comrade. The gloomy Hokage office was illuminated with a green light. Sarutobi Hirozen took drag after drag of his cigarette, thinking about what to say next. Hokage-sama. Brother Kai and Senior Kakashi made me understand the power of bonds and friendship. It is this kind of inclusive emotion and this deep connection that can keep the village of Konoha forever united. I will not abandon Naruto, and I will never allow anyone to force me to leave for any reason. Wherever the leaves fly, the fire will never be extinguished. Even if I cannot protect the entire village as Hokage, I will still fulfill this will of fire until the very end and use my own strength to burn for the village's brilliance. This is my ninja way from my youth. The green light began to sting Sarutobi Hirozen's eyes. Cough, cough. A familiar cough was heard, and a dark magnetic field slightly eroded the green light space. Hirozen, why are you bothering this brat? Just give the order. No unexpected people can be near Naruto, so we need to prepare the tools. Danzo, Sarutobi Hirozen interrupted his old friend. Don't say this in front of the children, HMPH. Danzo snorted coldly, expressing his attitude. Then he spoke to Suzumiya Musashi in a grave voice. Suzumiya Musashi, do not go looking for Uzumaki Naruto again. It's an order from the village. Suzumiya Musashi asked, confused. Hokage-sama, who is this old man? Oh, this is Danzo, the chief advisor of the village. You should call him Elder Danzo, Sarutobi Hirozen said. Oh, Suzumiya Musashi replied. Then he said to Sarutobi Hirozen again, Hokage-sama, I still insist on my idea. I can't. Danzo's grim expression deepened. At that moment, a masked ninja approached his ear and whispered something. Danzo looked at Suzumiya Musashi with a sympathetic expression, a civilian ninja with good physical abilities. Hirozen, stop wasting time on such trivial matters, just give the order. Hokage-sama, I disagree, Suzumiya Musashi said excitedly. You have no idea how lonely Naruto is right now, without teammates, without relatives or friends, and with the villagers showing undue malice. Hokage-sama, if Naruto is left alone like this, will he ever be able to grow up healthy and become the pillar of Konoha? Hokage-sama, I will never allow it. Everyone in this village should be a teammate, a comrade. Someone with whom one can build a close bond. I often think that one day I'll graduate and become a ninja, wearing the Konoha Forward Protector and shining brightly. I want to be a ninja like my father. If I abandon my comrades for this reason, will the Konoha of the Forward Protector still shine? Burning tears flowed, and snot was not far behind. Suzumiya Musashi burst into tears. I won't allow it. I won't allow it. Very well, Sarutobi Hirozen tapped his pipe. Let's forget about this for now. There's nothing more to be done, Musashi. Remember, practice well and don't forget your dream. Never forget the will of fire of Konoha and your ninja youth. Hello. Hokage-sama, Hirozen, you'll regret this. Danzo, Elder Danzo, Suzumiya Musashi looked at Danzo for the first time, with determination. The third Hokage is the Hokage, he is righteous and magnificent. He will undoubtedly guide Konoha and all of us toward a better future and become the strongest Hokage in history. Danzo. Chapter 24 Naruto's Grilled Fish. After being summoned by the Hokage, Suzumiya Musashi began to have normal contact with Uzumaki Naruto. His energy remained focused on cultivation. When Uzumaki Naruto was with him, he knew not to interrupt his practice. He would simply wait for him to take a break and then rush over to say a few words. "Boss, let's go fishing tonight." "Fishing?" asked Suzumiya Musashi, wiping the sweat from his brow. "You know how to fish too, of course," Uzumaki Naruto said proudly. "Alright, when you get off work tonight, head to Chiriko Ramen and wait for me." "Yes," Uzumaki Naruto said with a jump. At dusk, after finishing his work, Suzumiya Musashi instructed his shadow clone to resume practicing ninjutsu. He accompanied Uzumaki Naruto to the stream. I watched him retrieve the bamboo fishing rod and tools hidden behind the rock, and skillfully hook and bait the fish. The hook fell into the water, and the two men stared at the float. "Naruto, when did you learn to fish?" "I knew how before I met the boss." "That's so cool. What made you want to learn to fish?" "Well, I find it interesting," Naruto said with a grin. "Peekaboo." My stomach started to rumble. Suzumiya Musashi's expression gradually changed. He finally understood. Besides being fun, fishing for kids has another side. Hungry. Considering the other skill, it obviously wasn't the first or second time. If I remembered correctly, Sarutobi Hirozen appeared when Uzumaki Naruto was growing up. Before that, Uzumaki Naruto seemed to have gone through a period where he didn't have enough money and went hungry. After realizing this, I felt even more resentful. Zhao. Damn third generation. Is this how you take care of children? I cursed him 800 times in my heart. He looked at Uzumaki Naruto, who was still staring at the float in the water with excitement. It seemed he wanted to show off his fishing skills. Perhaps it was just bad luck, but more than 10 minutes later, Uzumaki Mingren finally caught a fish. Small, palm-sized fish skipped across the floor. "Look, boss. Am I cool?" Uzumaki Naruto said boastfully. But then he shook his head and said, "It's a shame they're too small. The fish don't seem very lively today." Suzumiya Musashi laughed. "Forget it, just watch me. Let me show you how a ninja relaxes." Under Uzumaki Naruto's curious gaze, he walked to the bank. "Make hand seals and then press them against the water. Water style, fishing technique." Chakra surged through the water. The water attribute was his weakest. With his level of aquatic ninjutsu, his effectiveness in combat wasn't great, of course. But if it was just a matter of controlling the river's flow, it was still possible. With a surge of chakra, the water beneath the stream began to rise. The next instant, the water at the bottom of the river concentrated into a column as thick as a bucket, which rose and rushed toward the bank. In a flash, the water slowly dissipated, and a bunch of fish appeared on the bank. "What do you think, Uzumaki Naruto?" "Sugoi, for a kid of 4 years, even the worst ninjutsu is extremely novel. Teach me, teach me." "Boss, teach me." Uzumaki Naruto didn't even care about the fish and pestered Suzumiya Musashi eagerly. "Not yet. You're too young and can't refine the chakra. I'll teach you when you grow up," said Suzumiya Musashi. "Let's put the small fish back in the water and grill them quickly." "Okay." Uzumaki Naruto felt a little disappointed, but then eagerly picked up the fish again. They also brought a small pile of firewood. "No need to be so troublesome," said Suzumiya Musashi, helping Naruto prepare the fish, placing them on wooden skewers and setting them up in the open space. He formed hand seals again. Fire style, crispy on the outside, tender on the inside, flames steadily engulfed the bodies of several fish. Compared to water attribute chakra, the level of fire attribute ninjutsu was far greater. With deliberate practice, his level of control was also quite good. The flame steadily grilled the fish, evaporating the moisture while emitting bursts of grilled aroma. His fire jutsu skills were far inferior to those of a ninja like Jiraiya, who could grill a large fish with fire jutsu in an instant. To ensure the fish was thoroughly cooked and edible, he had to lower the heat and grill it a little longer. After about a minute, He extinguished the fire. The grilled fish, charred and fragrant, was ready. Uzumaki Naruto's eyes widened in amazement. "Boss, it looks great," exclaimed Suzumiya Musashi, handing him a fish. "Try it first and see what it tastes like. Be careful not to burn yourself." Uzumaki Naruto winced at the heat as he ate the grilled fish in large bites. He narrowed his eyes with happiness. That night, Suzumiya Musashi sent Naruto back home. He cleaned the other person's house and refrigerator. Before leaving, he asked him to eat at Ichiriko ramen every day. Uzumaki Naruto scratched his head and said, "Huh? This isn't good, is it, even if you help out at Ichiriko ramen?" "What are you thinking?" Suzumiya Musashi touched the other's blonde hair. "It's more than just helping out. Sister of course is the boss's girlfriend, your future sister-in-law. Just remember to eat. I won't punish you." After Suzumiya Musashi left, Uzumaki Naruto jumped excitedly around the room, making monkey noises now and then. After a while, exhausted, he collapsed on the bed. After waiting a bit, he suddenly sat up. Water escape, fishing technique, fire escape, crispy on the outside and tender on the inside. Chapter 25 Naruto's New Mission. From then on, Uzumaki Naruto solved his daily food problem at Ichiriko ramen. He chatted with a kind sister Chorus and told her older brother about the interesting things that happened during the day. One day he discovered that there were many fish and crabs in a river in the village. Another day he learned that a new shop had opened in the village. If the owner wasn't welcoming or had a bad attitude, he would paint graffiti all over the door the next day. One day he met a little girl with white eyes. She was very introverted. They seemed like a happy family. This was the happiest moment Uzumaki Naruto had ever had. One night, Suzumiya Musashi noticed that Uzumaki Naruto seemed a little down. He asked, "What's wrong, Naruto?" Uzumaki Naruto thought for a moment and said, "Boss, why do others have a father and mother, but I don't?" Suzumiya Musashi was silent for a moment. Naruto continued, "I want to know what my mom and dad are like. Grandpa Saratobi never told me. He only said that he sacrificed himself for the village. He told me that even if I knew, it wouldn't matter. The dead don't rise again, but I really want to know." A warm hand brushed my head. Uzumaki Naruto looked up and saw Suzumiya Musashi's gentle gaze. "In that case, the chief can tell you something." There was ecstasy in Uzumaki Naruto's eyes. "Really? Chief, you know my parents?" Suzumiya Musashi asked. "Yes. I know him." "Naruto, you're still young, so there are some things I might have to tell you later. You still need to complete a mission?" "What mission?" "Chief, can't you just tell me everything?" Naruto asked anxiously. "No," Suzumiya Musashi flicked his finger. "This is a village secret. I can't tell you easily. Only if you advance a little further will you be able to get all the information. Well, tomorrow's the weekend. We'll meet where we always do. I'll take you on the mission. I'll answer your questions as soon as you're done." The next day, on the outskirts of the Konoha forest, Suzumiya Musashi was lifting heavy weights and training hard, sweating profusely. In the shade of the trees, not far away, a small figure lay on the ground in an odd position, a clump of grass on its head, a pair of large eyes staring nervously ahead. About 10 meters away, a gray hare was enjoying its well-deserved breakfast. Grass rabbit, a common species in Konoha. Its meat is delicious, and it has an excellent reproductive rate. It's a very popular food. Uzumaki Naruto carefully concealed his figure, staring intently as he murmured, "Grass rabbit, 20 centimeters long. It has a faint white stripe on the back of its neck, and its ears are angled backward. The tail is short and small, with fuzz at the base. It's considered a rabbit." After confirming it time and again, Uzumaki Naruto carefully began to gather energy. This is the 13th time. It must succeed. Muttering softly, Uzumaki Naruto suddenly exerted force with his thighs. Suddenly, he leaped like a rabbit. The moment the rabbit jumped, he realized something was wrong, exerted force with his feet, and jumped back instantly. Escape. But it was too late. Uzumaki Naruto used all his strength. The grass rabbit was still in the air when the man lunged at him. The grass rabbit used his special kicking skills to try to avoid the fatal attack. However, the hunter's reaction exceeded his expectations. One hand was successfully dodged. Uzumaki Naruto was in the air. He twisted his body forcefully without a care in the world and grabbed the rabbit in his arms with his other hand. Then, he fell to the ground and rolled. He was covered in grass and dirt, but he didn't care. He stood up and placed the rabbit in front of him, then stretched out its hind legs as it struggled. There's no little J, it's definitely a female rabbit. Confirming that his judgment was correct, Uzumaki Naruto smiled with delight. Then he stood up, grabbed the rabbit with one hand, dusted itself off with the other, and ran towards Suzumiya Musashi in the distance. Boss. Boss. I'm done. Hearing the noise, Suzumiya Musashi finished his movements and stopped. Treasure. Above are some simple portraits and notes. Animal Identification Task. Part 1, Chapter 1, Grass Rabbit. This is followed by the specific traits profile and text analysis. Uzumaki Naruto gasped and said, Boss, I've mastered all the gender characteristics of the grass rabbit. Now you can tell if a rabbit is male or female at a glance. Hey, this is the female rabbit I caught. You can use her as a reference. There shouldn't be any problem. Under Naruto's expectant gaze, Suzumiya Musashi nodded. Yes, not bad, even though it's just an ordinary grass rabbit. It's great that you were able to catch it. You've completed your first mission. So, boss, can I ask mom and dad my first question? Naruto's eyes lit up. Suzumiya Musashi smiled and nodded. Of course, some time ago, he met Uchiha Itachi in the village. He wanted to arrange a meal and chat together, but Itachi said he didn't have time. He was accompanying his younger brother Sasuke on a mission, collecting cat tracks. So he thought of taking Naruto along for some fun activities. Not only can it improve your mood, but it also gives you exercise. Besides, Uzumaki Naruto was saddened by his parents' situation, so he proposed a long-term mission, Animal Identification Mission in Konoha. By analyzing characteristics and capturing animals, you can hone your skills in animal identification in the ninja world. Beasts like tigers and giants. Bears. On the other hand, Uzumaki Naruto finally asked a question he'd been thinking about all day. Boss, what are my parents' names? Suzumiya Musashi changed the question. If only he were a little stronger. Strong enough not to worry about Sarutobi Hiruzen and Danzo, he could answer Uzumaki Naruto's question. Rejected, Naruto thought it over and said, So, what does mom look like? Is she pretty? Can I ask this? Suzumiya Musashi said, Alright. He thought of Uzumaki Kushina, his eyes filled with longing. Ayame's sister, of course, Suzumiya Musashi confirmed without hesitation. Your mother is prettier than Sister Ikoris. He has beautiful eyes, a beautiful nose, and a great figure. But Naruto, you can't tell anyone else what I said. If Ikoris finds out, I won't forgive you. Don't worry, boss. Uzumaki Naruto nodded, and a sweet and beautiful image began to form in his mind. Looking at Uzumaki Naruto, lost in his daydreams, Suzumiya Musashi's expression softened. She reached out and touched his head. Also, the boss is giving you one free answer. Uzumaki Naruto suddenly turned his head, his large eyes sparkling. However, before he could think of the question he wanted to ask, Suzumiya Musashi had already decided for him. Naruto, your parents love you very much? They love you very much? Uzumaki Naruto was stunned. Tears quickly filled his large eyes, sliding down his cheeks. Looking at the tearful Uzumaki Naruto, Suzumiya Musashi also felt a little sad. The woman who always got angry from time to time. Beautiful, a woman with messy red hair. He misses me too. Suddenly, he thought of someone. The same red hair, the same member of the Uzumaki clan. Fragrant phosphorus. The Uzumaki clan was scattered far and wide. Most of the tribe members died in the displacement. There were also a small number who were absorbed by various ninja villages somehow. Karin is the most miserable of them. Since she can't live here in vain, the Kusanagi used her as an external battery. If Kushina knew about Karin's situation, she would undoubtedly be angry. Suzumiya Musashi thought. Considering Karin's age, she shouldn't have lived through the most tragic moment yet. At that moment, he set a goal, save Uzumaki Karin. If Kushina knew I didn't help, she would undoubtedly laugh at me. Get stronger as soon as possible. The stronger, the better. I have no time left, a long time. I must rescue Karin. There will be occasional skirmishes on the border, and some ninjas will die. There are undercurrents within the Uchiha clan, and Itachi Uchiha is less likely to find them. Danzo continues to plot on the shadows. These have little to do with Suzumiya Musashi. He simply carried out his practice step by step. From time to time, I took some time off to work on art with Nojiri Oki to earn some money. Accompanying Ayame and Naruto Uzumaki. It happened in the blink of an eye. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.